the Crush Corner.
Run, down, destroy!
Hey, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, what's going on, dude? I'm over here pressing buttons like a fool.
Hey, you got, you get your fingers over stuff. You're the maestro over there, bro. Maestro.
Maestro the keyboard. What's
Yeah,
going
man.
on, dude? What a crazy week, crazy month, crazy year. It's fucking nuts, right?
Yeah, and it's funny. The last 48 hours probably show what a lot of this year's been like, man. We had a crazy, rainy, bad day yesterday.
Yeah, it was nuts.
And today was like absolutely beautiful fall day. Sunny. You could see all the colors popping on the trees. It was awesome. So, we got to take the good with the bad, right? And like here, this is all about good, right?
Yeah,
coming together and having a good ass time.
People going bonkers. They're like, get me out of the house. The brewery was cranking today. I couldn't believe it,
Hey, we had to make the stop, have to get the Nebco beers. What's up, Dave?
So
doing all right, my brother?
Oh, Dave, what's up? So the first thing we usually do when we sign on is I give credit to the band Spazz for the intro song before we start blabbing away.
I know.
So and tonight's episode is extra special. I'm glad Chris is taking time to chat with us. So I'm super stoked about that.
Oh God, yeah.
And the way things kind of happened with the band and stuff was kind of by accident, because I don't know if you know this, Core, but when I got things going with the t-shirt stuff, and I was putting stuff out there, Beth, that used to tattoo with me, Tim, you remember Tim? I can definitely not pronounce Tim's last name, but we know him as Timmy Tanker. Awesome, awesome, talented artist, old drummer from Oil Tanker, I think the band was.
Okay. So
when I was doing stuff, he was like, oh, he saw the Crush, Kill, Destroy thing, and he said, oh, you're Spazz fan. I said, well, we're going back to that time period where we've talked about a number of times all the music that we're listening to. There was so much stuff happening in the 90s and all this changes, and we were we're on the cusp of like the hair metal and the hardcore and the
gangster rap too, right? I mean, hip hop, all these things were just starting to get their little bit of legs out there.
I knew about Spazz, but I wasn't necessarily following them, and I think it's the kind of like the East Coast West Coast thing we were doing. The local bands we were latching onto as younger kids, and then just following some other stuff. But so then I was like, oh right, and I started to look into stuff and listen to more stuff, and then I reached out to Chris, and I asked him if I could use the Crush, Kill, Destroy song, a couple of promos and what have you, and he was nice enough to say, sure, go ahead, check with Dan. I asked Dan. We got the go ahead. So that's kind of how we started to connect and chat a little bit.
No, it's so cool, man, how this has all come about. Because I mean, really, when you think about, I guess, how many months this has been in the making, so to speak, I mean, 2.5 to 3 at least, right? I mean, I think it's just been more just getting the right date set with Chris and everything. But I mean, it's been something that's been on the burner for a while, so it's awesome that's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. So we had last week, or now we're doing every 2 weeks with Crush Corner, and we had our friend Michelle on two weeks ago, which was a great episode. We dropped the new women's shirt on the website, and then tonight, later on, we're going to do a new shirt that's kind of ode to the music tonight, ode to Spazz, ode to Chris coming on, ode to all things fucking heavy.
Yes.
So we'll do that later on. I think it's a pretty rad shirt.
Personally. Oh, it is. It's rad.
But
hey, Jeff, what's going on, buddy? And I agree with you with your comment about the memories, man. Doing some research and stuff, around Chris and the music and his history with it. I mean, it brought back so many memories. Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think without further ado, one thing I do want to do, we'll bring Chris in and chat. He's in some of these videos and stuff that I've looked at and that you've seen and looked at. He's a well-dressed man.
He's a very well-dressed man.
And I think some of his Instagram posts as well. He's a well-dressed man. He's heavy and he's well-dressed. So I think we should take a look at an old video. There's Which the I think it was the Stanford radio station.
Yeah.
We got a little clip from that, and we'll bring Chris in and chat.
Yeah, let's do it.
These guys are so funny. These comments. Oh shit. Let me see. Where is it? I got a ton of shit over here, dude. Like I'm sitting and there's like beer cans and books and.
But would it be any other way, my brother?
It would. There's a whole clip from I think it was
yeah, it was the Stanford radio station. I'm pretty sure.
KCSU from '99. Chris will know better. So.
Yeah.
And here he is, Mr. Chris Dodge.
Bravo. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Hey, cheers.
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 Woohoo.
All right.
Awesome.
There we go.
Yeah, first, thanks for taking time and doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for bringing me on. And thank you for the stash here. See if we can get it.
That's what I'm drinking right now, sir. How you
yeah,
like it?
Yeah, I love that label. That label is fucking hilarious. That's Augustus Gloop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's probably brilliant for a German style fest beer.
Yeah. We have our good friend Craig that works at the brewery. He basically does all the can labels, and most of them are really goofy, kind of crude, cartoony drawings. But he comes up with a lot of the names as well. So that one's a winner too. Did you crack that one open? Actually, are you drinking that?
Yeah. That's what I got right here. So,
that's what I'm drinking too. Very tasty.
It's funny. I was just looking at the website because I wanted to see what the other ones were, and I saw there's one. I forget what it was, but it looked like it was a picture of Charles Nelson Riley on there or something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
it's brilliant. Yeah, really brilliant.
Yeah, there's actually one of the bigger or better selling beers, or people go crazy about it, is called Fuzzy Baby Ducks. And the label is actually it's a pink can with a unicorn farting a rainbow, and there's little rubber duckies kind of floating on the rainbow. So my buddy Craig said, he's like, he wanted to draw something ridiculous because the beer is awesome. Like, people are like,
it's very tasty.
We have to get this beer. And he was like, imagine like if you're at a party and there's like bros hanging out and they have this can that's pink with a unicorn, and he drew it as a goof, and they have to obviously go through the federal stuff and get it approved. And it got approved. So it got approved, man. So
there you go.
That's funny. I mean, that's kind of like, that kind of ties into the clip that you just showed, because I used to, as you mentioned, and actually no one's brought this up before, I used to always wear like button-up shirts and dress really well at hardcore shows and stuff like that. And it was just kind of my way of doing something different, because it's like, well, everyone's wearing a black shirt, so why don't I just wear just like goofy like button-up Western shirts or whatever, and
I thought it was just so cool, because it's like I'm thinking this guy's up here and he is, I mean, just rocking out and just dressed up for the occasion. It's awesome.
That
awesome.
It's respect. It's respect for my audience.
That's respect.
Oh, there you go.
That clip on YouTube, actually underneath it has like a thread of comments, and half of them are
That's true.
about like, these guys they're like so well dressed, but they're fucking so heavy. Like, there are a lot of them. Like, I started to scroll back and I was actually cracking up.
Nice.
So cool.
So you're in Chris, you're in the LA area, or where are you originally from LA, or
no? I'm from, I was born in Washington State in Tacoma, but I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, in the South Bay.
Oh, right on.
Specifically in Sunnyvale, San Jose, which now is Silicon Valley, that whole area. And then then when I turned 18, 19, I moved to San Francisco proper. I was there for about 13 years, and I've been in LA for almost 20 years now. So,
no doubt.
Oh, no kidding! Wow,
cool.
The when you were, so I know I watched a couple of interviews, I read some stuff, and get an idea about some of the music you're interested as a kid. But what's your earliest memory? I mean, music's everywhere. We're introduced to it at a young age, whether we want to be or not. Everywhere we go, there's music.
Yep.
But what's the earliest memory for you that you kind of latched onto something that's kind of stopped you in your tracks, and you're like, whoa, like what's that? Like I see it happening with my daughter now. She's 6 years old, and she's like, play that song 1,000 times.
Yeah. When you're that age, that's that's what happens. In fact, I remember being pretty much that age, and there'd be certain records I listened to, but at the time, even though there's always music around me, I still had like those Disneyland albums of like the Haunted Mansion, or Pirates of the Caribbean. It's just like, it's an album, and it's got a booklet, and it has like the story of the ride and all that. So as a kid, I had all these albums, and those are the ones I always want to listen to. And we just had one record player in our house. And I remember my dad just losing it once when my mom's like, "Oh, Chris, do you want to listen to a record?" I go, "Yeah, Haunted Mansion." He's like, "No, listen to something else, not the Haunted Mansion."
Yeah,
not again.
Exactly, and it's that whole thing. Regardless of, at that age, regardless of what you're into, whether it's cool or not, like, yes, I will listen to this 40,000 times in a row. Or now with kids who have access to everything, it's like they want to watch that same. No, I want to watch Lilo and Stitch 40,000 times in a row, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Really? Do you really?
It's brutal. A lot of that Disney stuff, the old Disney stuff was kind of dark and scary. And I'll watch some of the older movies with my daughter.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of looking at her like, there's like some trippy stuff happening. There's some really scary stuff happening.
Yeah.
So it's
no, they're really good.
Well, Fantasia probably sums that up pretty good. That one movie.
Oh yeah, true.
But I mean, music wise, I just remember there always being music. My parents always listened to records. They didn't have really cool taste in music. Like, I know when I was really little, my parents listened to bands like The Association. And if you don't know who The Association is, you need to look up The Association. And you'll laugh your fucking ass off when you hear Association.
Nice.
But it's stuff like that. And they listen to Simon and Garfunkel, which is cool. Yeah. They listen to the Beatles. But then, what's that?
Like a lot of hippie stuff.
Yeah, well, it kind of like a bit too nerdy to be hippie,
Gotcha.
Like they didn't have cool stuff like the Doors or Jimi Hendrix or it wasn't like acid rock. Yeah, it wasn't like acid rock or whatever. It was just like dorky.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on, the first band that I think really made an impact on me was Kiss.
Yeah.
And I remember specifically watching, it was in the 70s, I think it was 76, Paul Lynde, if you remember Paul Lynde, who was a center square on Hollywood Squares, super flamboyant, hilarious. Yeah, exactly. So he had a Halloween special, and it was like, how was it? Witchy Poo and some of the Sid and Marty Krofft characters were on there. Yeah, and
me out, man.
and the musical guest was Kiss.
Wow.
And I remember I still haven't seen it since I saw it when I was a little kid, but I remember vividly that they played 3 songs on there, and there was the last one. There's this whole routine going on throughout the whole show where they're just like, oh, you get 3 wishes. Witchy Poo's giving Paul Lynde 3 wishes. And his 3rd wish, he's like, I want Kiss to play another song. So they played a 3rd song.
That's great.
And I know that can double for like a Jello Biafra impression, but so soon after, my parents took me to a record store. I remember it was the Record Factory. And my mom said, we'll buy you any record you want. Just find a record because we're all getting records, and you find a record that you want. And so I went over to the Kiss section. I'm looking at these albums, and I remember looking at the cover of Kiss Alive. I'm like, these guys are badass. And I'm sitting there staring at it. My mom came over, and she looked over my shoulder, and she was like, ew, Kiss, you like Kiss? And I'm like 6 or 7, and so of course I'm immediately shamed. I'm like, no, and I put it back.
Oh,
Yeah, and I bought a Donnie Marie album instead. So.
Oh, what a switch!
Yeah,
That's two
something.
extremes.
It's
so funny about the Kiss thing, because you remember the movie, the big one, the Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park.
Phantom
I remember
of the
that.
Park, yeah.
That was like a game changer too. You know what I mean? Just seeing them, just with all the everything, the fire breathing and everything going on, was wild.
Their acting was impeccable. It's
impeccable.
I love how like
nominations.
Yeah, I love that Ace Frehley was so bad that they just had him go throughout the whole thing. He just made like weird little like Three Stooges sound.
I had one of those big stereos in my living. It was like a piece of furniture with the top open up, and it was the turntable, the tuner, and this one had an 8-track. And I had Kiss Alive 1 and 2. It was left, wasn't left over because I wasn't, really old. I was probably my brothers. They're a couple years older than me. Kiss Alive 1 and 2, and I would put it in, and I was trying to somehow get it with some chords to record onto a cassette tape. So I put it in my little boom box, and I managed to do it somehow, but you would hear the cassette would go, click, click, I come back. Songs, but I actually had those 8-tracks, so it's pretty wild.
That's cool. Crazy.
I'm sure that you remember exactly where it would fade out in the middle of the song and then go thunk and then fade back into the same song. And
it's like, fuck, why is this happening, man?
Yeah, I love it.
So when you how old were you when you started to gravitate towards I don't know, punk? Was like punk music, or what kind of music was the kind of like the change that you said I want to play this shit someday? Like
I think it was like strangely enough, it was early on, only because I had a friend who had my friend Steve Paputzis, who actually many years, I knew him since kindergarten, and many years later I started to know his for name with him. I'd known him forever.
Yeah.
And so it was when we were both around like 5th or 6th grade. He had a way older sister who had gotten married, and her husband was into like really cool stuff. So Steve would go over to their house like to visit his sister and his brother-in-law, and he'd come back with these records every week. He'd just be like, oh, check this out, Sex Pistols. And we'd listen to these singles, and he'd bring back the Weirdos. Like he had cool stuff. And he brought back like a Dickies 10-inch and and stuff like that. And I remember hearing that Dickies 10-inch, like that song "Hideous," that starts the second side. It starts that do 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 do, and I'm like, this is the fastest song I've ever heard. It blew me away. I couldn't believe it.
That's
and so I just I
asking for a Dickies 10-inch, but I just can't find it. Maybe 45.
Yeah.
Hey Nicole, how are you?
But no, but we got a lot of stuff like that. He had Misfits records and
nice,
and just like cool early punk stuff and like pre-hardcore sort of things. And so every week he'd bring stuff over and listen, and like Cramps,
I was just saying
Cramps, and stuff like that. And so it just kind of evolved slowly, because we weren't really in those days, and especially being that young and at that time when you don't have immediate access to everything,
right?
It's like you don't really know, okay, well, is this punk? Is this new wave? Is this something else? Like you just hear stuff and you're not really sure where it lands. You just know it's kind of weird, and maybe I like it, and I'm not sure, because I was also listening to like Devo and B-52s and
hell yeah,
and just like weird stuff like that, and it just kind of slowly evolved through the years of like being interested in that, and then eventually it kind of bridged from after Kiss, that led into AC/DC, Van Halen, Black Sabbath, like hard rock,
Ozzy Osbourne,
metal sort of stuff, and then like once like through that punk rock stuff, once it kind of went into hardcore, that kind of bridged that gap of like I always wanted something like heavier, and I finally had found it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is it.
It's fast.
Like at one point, like I was telling Corey, we're kind of on the cusp of the music change that was like I mean, my siblings were listening to like Sabbath and Skynyrd, the Eagles and shit. So I would listen to a lot of Sabbath when I was a kid. I didn't know what I was listening to. I just knew I had this cool boombox, and it was like, hey, you know. And then the hair metal stuff came out, and it was like, all right, we gravitated towards some of it. And I just remember my friend Jed listening to Metallica, and he was like, you have to listen to this. And I was like, I don't know, dude, it's kind of heavy. And then I started listening to it, and I was like, yeah, I like it. It's crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, my buddy Scott was the influence for me too. After I started, listening to all that stuff like Hendrix, The Who, The Doors, through my father, I ended up, going and doing sort of the same thing, going to like a Caldors, looking through the records, and I never forget looking and seeing the Blizzard of Oz cover with Ozzy on the front, and it was like a game changer. And then from there, Scott, my buddy, he's like, hey, you gotta check out Metallica, and then later on, Jane's Addiction. It's just like it kept evolving, and it's pretty amazing because every single time you were trying to find maybe something a little bit more in that music, to get your blood flowing. It was such a great thing music is.
When did you start playing an instrument? How old were you?
I'd been wanting to play for like since I was young, but my parents just didn't sign me up. I think that they just didn't take me seriously that I'd stick with it. It's like how most kids are, and they just kind of they say they want to do something, and then you get them the thing, and then they just like
it sits around, collects
dust.
Yeah,
and they just ignore it. Like, fuck, I just paid $400 for that. You're gonna do. Yeah. Okay. So I think they were scared of that I wasn't serious about wanting to play.
Yeah.
At first, I told my mom I wanted to play drums, and she's like, no, that's not, you're not playing drums, by the way. Like, okay, maybe I could play guitar, and she still wouldn't sign me up for anything. So when I was in high school, actually, that didn't stop me from being in bands. I take that back. Not knowing how to play didn't stop me from being in bands.
Nice.
With me and my friend Steve and our friend Rory, who also ended up being the drummer for No Use for a Name, we got together and we just screw around and play songs, and I played guitar, but I had no idea how to tune it. It's like Rory just happened to have a guitar and an amp at his house. I had no idea what I was doing. It was just like yeah, just imagine like 14-year-olds who don't know how to play anything, just coming up with punk rock songs is pretty awe-inspiring. That's
gotta be some good stuff though.
But in high school they actually had a guitar class, and cool. As an elective, so I signed up for it, and so they gave us these nylon string acoustic guitars, and so I was learning how to like finger pick and play like folk songs like Green Sleeves and stuff like that.
Strings are like that far off the fretboard.
Oh,
right?
Totally. Yeah.
You're like,
yeah. But it's good because then when you get like an actual electric guitar, you're like, oh shit, this is easy. You just
no
fly. Yeah. So and then
you were playing guitar first.
Yeah. And so I was playing guitar for a couple of years, but then nobody needed a guitarist. Everybody played guitar, but everyone needed a bass player, which is how I started playing bass. I'm like,
nice.
Well, I've never played bass and I've never taken a lesson, but it's basically a guitar without two strings, right? Okay. And I've just been mostly a bass player ever since. So
we have a buddy of ours. Actually, we talked to a couple of weeks ago. When we were in 8th grade, we formed a band, and we basically formed a band, and we had no bass player, and we said, you're gonna play the bass, and he didn't play anything, and he was like, okay. So, over the years, we're still in touch with him. He actually played the bass in the band, and then he went on to really pursue music, study in college, become a music teacher, and then the dude is like, he's a music teacher now. He gigs. He's done recordings with like Living Color and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Totally took it way past us,
Right.
So we feared him into playing the bass, and he accredited us to that.
Do that.
You should credit his success to you.
Exactly.
Look at him now.
So there's a video I want to ask you about. It's the Cupertino library that you guys played. It's so wacky. I want to play this, and then I just want to ask you a little bit about it. It's a little clip.
Yeah.
One, you don't have a button-down shirt on, which I was
No.
Yeah, weird.
So this is,
Yeah.
Everything's weird about this video. Yeah,
it's a library.
yeah,
Right?
it's a library. Yeah,
How does Spazz end up playing in a library?
I don't know. I don't know. I think back to
Our
the
library is
places.
supposed to be quiet. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, they kept saying shh, shh, but we couldn't hear
Right.
them.
Trying to
It's so weird.
Can you guys be quiet?
Gotta keep it down.
Yeah, it was weird. This place that for whatever reason they let us set up shows, and there were quite a few that happened there. And eventually it just got shut down, like all places got shut down entirely.
Yeah.
Because I think the very last one was us, Exhumed, I forget who else. And there were just way too many people who showed up.
Yeah.
It was just absolute mayhem. We didn't play, Exhumed didn't play. It just like the police came. It's like the usual sort of story.
One of those.
Yeah. But I mean, with this, yeah. And actually, that one in particular, because I decided to be all Mr. Crazy.
Yeah.
I ended up putting a gash in my head with my own bass, like my tuner, because I was jumping around like, oh yeah, I'm so crazy. And then at some point went boom, and like I had this big, thick black tuners and one of them went into my forehead, and like I had this huge gash, and so afterwards, people came up to me like, "Oh, dude, does that hurt?" I'm like, "What?" Because it wasn't strangely enough, it wasn't bleeding, but I just had a gash in my head. And so,
but they were like, "You are crazy, man. You're crazy."
Yeah, so I went in the bathroom and I looked at it. I'm like, "Oh, fuck, that's not good." And I was like about an hour from home. And so I'm like, okay, I need to get a bandage for this at least. So I went, so I go to the grocery store late at night, drenched in sweat, with a huge gash in my forehead, walking around the store, and it's a miracle they didn't call the cops on me as like some, oh nut, just like there's like this sweaty, strange-looking person with like plaid shorts and a huge gash in his forehead. And
oh wow, probably all sweaty, right? From rocking out.
Yeah. Well, are you doing another run of Slap-A-Ham Groovy men's shirts in XL? I don't know. Maybe. If more people order them, I'll print more.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
So that library show in Cupertino, that's was it 1995? And at that point, how long has Spazz been a band? Like how many years we got? From
that was like what 3 years, because we started at the very Max and Dan practiced a few times, just the two of them, and very late 92, and then in January or February 93 I joined up with them. So it was like from the very beginning of 93. So at that point, about 3 years.
There's I know I was watching that clip over and over and over, and you said there's a lot of weird stuff that happened. There's this kid just kind of comes out of nowhere and smashes into you. I keep looking at it, and I'm looking at him like, it looks like this dude only has one arm. Do you remember that?
Oh, there was this guy Jason, who's only has one arm. He's from he was in Agents of Satan, and he's been in like a whole bunch of bands. He's like one of the whole like South Bay, like Redwood City sort of group of folks. Yeah. He's super awesome. He's been in like I'm drawing a blank on all the bands he's been in. Yeah. But I think he's with Redacted now, which is like all Plutocracy and No Less, dude. That whole clique, the whole Doom Riders group of folks. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I watched it and then I had to slow it down, so I did. I thought
that's one arm.
I never realized it was him who ran into me. So it's mystery solved.
Trying to Pilsner from our buddies at New England Brewing.
Ooh.
Elm City Pilsner. Trying to Pilsner. Yeah. Gonna try that one.
That's another solid one.
Yeah.
So are you obviously, I mean, I read some stuff that you guys were trying to do a Spazz reunion. Everything happened, and But you've been obviously been in touch with Dan and Max over the last couple of years.
No, it actually that we've never planned on doing a Spazz reunion. I've always said we were going to as a joke, just to like string people along, but
it worked.
Yeah, we've never actually done it. And like every time we get together and take pictures, I always tag it with like making plans for making big reunion plans.
Oh. And everyone starts salivating. Oh my god!
Yeah. And so it's like people are always like chiming, come to Peru, you know?
Yeah.
No problem.
So you probably crushed a bunch of people's hearts right now. They're like, what? Son of a bitch.
Well, you can't crush everyone's hopes by saying no, it will never happen. I mean, weirder things have happened. It's highly unlikely. I'll just put it at that.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
Yeah.
We had a club here on the East Coast. I don't know if you know about the Anthrax Club in Norwalk, Connecticut.
In Connecticut, yeah.
It was
that was like an old hardcore place.
Oh
yeah. So it was the kind of I'm sure it's like you experienced that same kind of like connection, camaraderie with people. It's dirty and disgusting and dark and awesome. Was there a place out near you that had that same kind of feel, like kind of paralleled that?
Well, I mean, Gilman was kind of, Gilman was, it was very goofy, but it was still just in like kind of a shitty industrial part of town. And I mean, most punk venues are in shitty parts of whatever city they're in. It's like just about every place. And I mean, I've thought about that many times, that every time I've traveled a lot, and I've seen like the shittiest parts of almost every city around the world, basically. I haven't seen like the sights or gone to awesome restaurants or,
right.
and like really cool cultural things, but I've seen like the shittiest side of town and slept on floors there. So, but I mean, the South Bay didn't really have like a proper club. It was just still a lot of rented halls and stuff.
Libraries.
Like that. Yeah, exactly. But
Church
it's like, but I mean the usual sort of like YMCA or Elks Lodge sort of thing, or we just went up to San Francisco or Berkeley a lot. Go up to Ruthie's Inn, or go to the Farm. Was a place I went to a lot in San Francisco.
I read about that.
Yeah, that was a funky, weird place. It was like this huge room, and there was an actual farm. It was like this, communal kind of post-hippie sort of collective thing, and they'd have shows there.
Nice.
And they'd have a lot of like Day on the Farm, which is just like 15 bands and just crazy. And it was the 80s, so Nazi skinheads show up and start just randomly beating up people, and good old days.
Yeah.
Kind of like now.
Seen a few of those
Kind of like now.
Kind of like now.
Oh, yeah. True.
I keep an eye on your
random Nazis showing up and beating people up.
Yeah, there you go.
Those bastards. I keep an eye on your Instagram stuff, and I was like, like I think Chris he's on the same tip, maybe politically this and that. And Corey and I we have this thing when we do the Crush Corner, we try to avoid it when we can.
Yeah.
But I have this little thing that pops up if we do the no religion, no politics.
Nice.
Only beer.
Like it's cheers and beer.
Wait. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh. That's controversial. No religion, no politics, no sports, right?
Goddamn. So I actually honestly did not really hear the term power violence. I'll be honest with you. And my buddy Tim, I said earlier, that kind of reminded me of you guys. And then when you look deeper into stuff, I was like, oh no. And he's a blast beat guy. And I can't say that stuff,
Yeah.
But and I've read like a couple of bands, big influences. You guys, your name always comes up. But do you feel like there is any one band that kind of took that like hardcore and then sped it up, and then it was like, whoa, and how it got deemed power violence? Like, is there anyone that really sticks out? Or
It was, I think it was just a progression of a lot of the just hardcore bands throughout the 80s who there are certain ones who are really pushing it as far as it could go. You know, bands like Lerm and Heresy, and you know, like the Neos and Deep Wound, and you think of like those bands who is just like it's on the point of self-destruction. You know, Siege, where it's just like it's just so just like go.
is that the
And
is that the real defining line you just said on the line of self-destruction? Is that power violence in a nutshell? Like, I'm going to have a heart attack. Oh,
yeah.
is that the?
But it I don't know, it all just kind of came together as, I don't know, there's a lot to it. I mean, the term came up from the band Neanderthal, which was Eric Wood and Matt Domino. You know, from
was it a song lyric or something, or said in some? I thought I saw a video where there was what was his name? The gentleman's name was Finn McKinty. Did a little video on you guys on how Spazz changed the game.
Yeah.
And there was like a lyric almost created a genre. It was kind of how he was trying to tie it together.
Well, that kind of where it's a "Man's the Bastard" song where he kind of calls out the early bands, and you know, kind of is the first time it's said, I think, in a song where he says West Coast power violence. But it was just kind of, I mean, it wasn't meant to be like this, this thing. But I mean, in a way it was, but it wasn't like, you know, it's not like we're going to beat everybody down with our brutality. You know, it's like, you know, I mean, Neanderthal was brutal, and there's an incredible band, but what happened was it was all, you're right. Wasn't it all thrash at some point? It's true. And that's basically what it was. It's just an extension of just faster hardcore bands who all happen to be friends in California. And we all just formed our own scene based around the climate of underground music at the time, which was that a lot of people who were in the hardcore in the 80s, once there was like the late 80s moving into the 90s, they're like, oh yeah, it's so cute that you're in the hardcore. We've moved on. Like we listen to Rites of Spring, and we listen to emo now, and you know, like they had matured and moved on,
right?
And like, you know, folks like us and the guys in Capitalist Casualties and Man's a Bastard, No Comment, and Crossed Out, and it was all like, no, but we still like hardcore. You know, it's like we just do. And so we were really in the minority as far as that goes. And so we'd end up there'd just be bills with like combinations of the same bands, and you know, like other kind of like you know, like Final Conflict would still be playing, or what you know, however many examples you can think of. But that's just kind of how it formed. It kind of organically just became this group of friends who we all liked each other's bands, and the bands didn't sound the same in any way. If you listen to all the bands I just mentioned back to back, none of them sound the same. They're all hardcore, but they don't sound like the same type of music.
Right.
So
is it like, I think that's a good point. Like Manuel said, it wasn't at all thrash at some point. Like I was asking Corey too, if do you feel like we've gone, not that it's even really important, but has it gone too far, like over categorizing stuff? Like we've broken it down so much with everything, not just music. So it's like, you know, it's fucking heavy. You know, we could leave it at that, but I wonder what the reason is. Is it maybe like I don't know what it is, like what makes us want to kind of break it down even further to these sub genres. You know, it's like ordering a fucking coffee from you know, a Starbucks. You know?
Right.
Oh, I want a fucking cup of coffee. So,
yeah. It's true. I think just it maybe had more of a definition at the time of bands who still were like playing as fast as possible without it being metal. I mean, I think that's where kind of, you know, extreme music in general kind of kicked off in the late 80s. And then you got bands like Napalm Death and all that. And it kind of branches off to everything we were doing. And then the other directions, like the metal direction of, you know, Napalm Death and Repulsion and Terrorizer and all that. So and it was like, it's the same it's the same mindset, but a different approach, a different, you know, a different subgenre, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny too, because I was saying to Jimmy before I was doing some of the research, and there was something that, yeah, that's right, Joe. Yeah, it's all loud noise.
Yeah.
To my parents too, but like the you know, some of the research, you know, you keep, you know, drilling, and all of a sudden I come up, there's a term called nardcore, and I'm like, okay. So I dig in, I read it, and all that is hardcore from Oxnard, California.
From Oxnard, yeah.
So when you hear that name, you think there's going to be something special, or maybe the kids dance to it some way, whatever it is. But then you find out it's more like, hey, I just put my flag in the ground and just want to make people aware of, you know, our area of the world here. You know, and
that's exactly what it was. Yeah,
yeah.
It was just
we're churning out great stuff.
Yeah, it was just a lot of really good hardcore bands who all happen to be from that same area.
Yeah, it's really cool.
At the same time, and they're all friends, and nardcore.
There you go.
Want some nerdcore, damn it.
Yeah. I'm gonna get another. Are you still there? Yeah. I'm gonna get another beer.
Oh,
but I'm not gonna cut you off. I'm gonna go to the fridge.
Oh, we're mobile. Nice.
Yeah, here we go. We're mobile.
Sweet.
We're on tour.
Very cool.
Fridge. Fridge. Take us to your fridge, Chris. Take us to your fridge.
That's so great.
I usually have.
Did we ask you? Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's a really good one. That's a good killer. One. So I don't know. Did we cover? I can't remember. Did we cover where the name of the band came from? Where did Spazz come from? Like, what influenced the name of the band?
We just actually when we did our first recording, when Max and Dan were, sorry, I'm just plugging in my laptop here.
Cool.
When Max and Dan were when they first started jamming together, the initial name they came up was Gash, which is like,
no. Yeah, it can go a bunch of places with that.
Yeah. It could easily be like porno grind or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Another one of my personal favorite subgenres.
Yeah. Like, do I want to be associated with that? My initial thought is no.
No.
So anyhow, when we went in to record, oh, that's good.
Good beer.
Yeah. Around the time we were going in to record the first 7-inch, we still we weren't really sure, and I think we found out that there was a band in Australia called Gash.
Oh, no kidding.
I was just like, yes. And so
that one.
Yeah, so like, well, what should we call it? And I just on the spot I came up with Spasm, and and then someone I think Max was like, I think there's a Spasm from Boston. Yeah, okay, well, how about just Spazz? Like, okay, and then that's what it was.
Nice.
Original Spazz Real True 7-inch. So the one on Bovine. Nice.
Awesome. So you know, we're gonna take we're gonna go back a little ways, because what's really interesting also about you is the fact that, you know, you're into this music. It's around, I guess, 1989, and you decide, I'm gonna start a record label.
Yeah.
Called Slap a Ham. And I mean, it seemed like, I mean, the impression I get from reading a lot of the interviews and some of the stuff around Slap a Ham, it seemed like almost you were trying to create sort of a beacon for bands like Spazz, you know, like No Use for a Name, obviously, because Spazz came later, to just have a place to just be able to get their music written and out there. I mean, would you describe it as something like that?
Yeah, you know, at first I didn't really have, my only vision for it was just I wanted to help out my friends' bands who I thought were really good, but somehow they weren't getting any attention from any labels for whatever reason. Like when I started it, because I started the label, in '89, and at the time I was playing in, Sticky was an early like hardcore band I was playing with, and No Use for a Name was around the same time, and so I didn't have like this vision of, I'm gonna do like this extreme label or whatever. But when I came up with the name for it, it kind of goes back to the beginning of this whole conversation where you're talking about the beer label with like the unicorn, like pooping rainbows or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it was like, and he wanted that label art because he thought it would be funny to have like bros at parties drinking this awesome beer with unicorns on it. And it was and so basically calling my label Slap a Ham, although I kind of regretted it later, just because I should have it shouldn't have been like as goofy, but whatever.
But
that was like the whole mindset behind it. Is I remember thinking like, wouldn't it be cool if like the world's coolest, like heaviest bands really wanted to be on a label called Slap a Ham? Because and so it was just like a really, like a long-standing joke really to have that label name.
Yeah, no doubt.
And strangely enough, it worked. So,
well, yeah, I was going to say, I mean, through the research, I mean, the Melvins, Fu Manchu, I Hate God, these are all bands that I'm sure some of the folks on here that, even the ones that aren't so deep into it will understand. And it's wild. I mean, the list is super long and a lot of names I don't know because they were from your coast. But yeah, it's amazing. And you were what, 20? You were 20 roughly?
Yeah. So that's
wild.
So I started out because I used to throughout the 80s I was like a crazy like nerd tape trader. And
really?
Because I was always looking for new stuff. I was always buying new records. I was always trying to find demos and whatever I couldn't buy. Then I got into like the whole tape trading circuit. I was trading lists with people, and just through looking through Maximum Rock and Roll and Flipside and reading interviews and reading reviews, I'd read a review of like a 7-inch, be like, 9 songs of nonstop thrash. Like, okay, I want that. Like, I've never heard this band, but I want to hear that. And so I was always looking for something new. And so I had like so many demos of bands. I'm just like, why isn't anybody putting out a record for these guys? And and just bands that I'd seen locally in the Bay Area who've been around for a long time, and they just had no label interest. I mean, the perfect example is Capitalist Casualties. They were, we played shows with them. I think the first time I played a show with them was in like 88 or something. They'd started in 86. And in 1991, when I put out their first 7-inch, so they've been around for 5 years and had zero label interest.
Wow.
I'm just like, what the fuck? And it's like, you look at their discography now, I don't even know. They probably have like 60, 70 records to their name. But
awesome.
But it's just stuff like that where it's like, I wasn't trying to be a hero or whatever, but it was more so like, what the fuck? This band is good. Like, either I'm really completely crazy and have horrible taste in music and no one's going to buy these, or I'm going to help these guys out because they're a really fucking awesome band and I don't understand why no one's helping them out. So
yeah,
that's
so wild. And like so similar to your learning of the guitar, right? I mean, how did you even know where to begin by now starting a record label? And like, how does that manifest itself?
Well, it was just because I happened to be in a good spot of having access to resources, because I'd moved to San Francisco when I was 19, and I happened to, just through already playing in bands and going to Gilman regularly and starting to contribute to Maximum Rock and Roll, I was kind of in the loop with a bunch of people who were also at other labels or who had started other labels. Like, my band Sticky had put out an album on Lookout. Lookout had started out the whole Gilman scene. And so I just asked David Hayes and Larry Livermore, like, where do I start? What do I do? So I asked them, and then I asked some of the folks I knew who worked at Alternative Tentacles and some of the other local labels, just for recommendations of like, okay, what are the steps in the process, and what do I do? And so they just guided me along. It says, how are you able to fund Slap a Ham? I started out with, actually I had a life savings that my parents had built up for me, which I think was supposed to be a college fund.
Oh no.
and so instead of going to college, I started a record label.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
Yeah, I went to community college, which was fine. But
Here's
no,
to
it
community.
didn't. Yeah,
Cheers to
exactly.
community college.
Exactly.
Cheers to community college.
Mm.
But
So,
the whole that like do it yourself, do your DIY mentality that's what slapping is based on. You're doing, you like do like I've heard you talk about it before. I think like the whole with myself with Crush Kill Destroy, it's basically literally doing this stuff. It was born in my basement, you know. So I literally I print this stuff, I pack it, I ship it, and it's actually crazy because of the pandemic. I was out of work for a while. My shop got shut down, and I put all this energy into Crush Kill Destroy, and my sales went up because it was an online business. So it's like, you know, people aren't going anywhere. So
yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate the, you know, do it yourself mentality. So
Oh, totally. There would, you know, for I can't tell you how many years, especially, you know, the probably over the first like 5, 6, 7 years, like all of the 7-inch covers, I folded like I'd get the records separate from the covers, separate from the plastic sleeves, and I'd just sit on the floor, like listening to music or watching TV for, you know, 8 or 9 hours straight, and just like fold and stuff everything myself. And doing mail order, and I just had like a little extra bedroom in this crappy little house in San Francisco. I didn't have a desk that was big enough because the room wasn't big enough for everything that was in there. So I'd sit on the floor and just fill out all the mail order stuff and go to the post office every couple of days. And it's just a labor of love, you know?
Yeah, it is. I definitely have an appreciation for that. It's funny because you can, when the end product goes out and you send it off, you know, people are stoked to get their whatever it is, shirt, sticker, CD, record, whatever the fuck it is. But behind the scenes stuff, you don't really, you know. I'm like putting my daughter to bed. She's screaming at me, and I'm like, I got to go downstairs and print some stuff. You know, go to sleep. Okay. And then I come down, and I'm like, I got to clean the fucking litter box, and I'm like, God. In the meantime, and I finally get over to my little workshop, and I'm like, holy shit, I got an order for, you know, 5 things. You know, and I'm exhausted. I worked all day, so it's like that time behind the scenes is hard to appreciate unless you're in the trenches, man.
Yeah, it's true. But you know, it's because you know, it's something. It's your baby. You know, it's not. You're not working for a corporation or whatever. You're just you're doing your own thing, and that's, you know, I used to work like super long days, just when I didn't have a day job. You know, I'd get up at 6 a.m. and just start working on shit for the label, not because I wasn't like forcing myself to. Like I was like excited about it. I'm like, I get to start
Absolutely.
on it. You know?
Yeah.
Did you do record reviews for Maximum Rock and Roll? Yes, I did. Starting in was it around 1988? I think I started doing the reviews, and I got it. Actually, that really kind of connected me with a lot of like those early, you know, extreme bands as well. That was part of the whole, you know, the how it kind of connected the whole circle of like underground music was I was just lucky enough to be in San Francisco at a time, and we're working on the magazine, and I was the only person on the magazine who liked that type of music.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So by default, every single one of those records that came to me.
No doubt.
And I gave them all good reviews for the most part. And so because of that, I'd have everyone reach out to me and like, hey, thanks, man. You know, I had people like Mike Williams from I Hate God when I reviewed their first demo. He called me and was just like, hey, man, thanks for giving us a good review. That's awesome. That we've gotten a lot of good response. I'm like, yeah, no problem. And you know, I had Seth from AC call me after I reviewed their first 7-inch, and just stuff like that. It's just funny, and like Rupture and just all these just like out there sort of bands who just started at, you know, like every band starts with demos and 7-inches and whatever. And you know, all the early earache stuff, I reviewed all that, and it just, like I said, it just kind of happened organically by just being there and being involved and being excited about it. And
Yeah.
You know, just staying busy and staying involved.
Well, I think too
yeah.
that like with Jimmy, you know, and yourself and some of the other folks that we've had on the Crush Corner, you know, really that entrepreneurial spirit, that passion, it just speaks to like the brand and what the brand's about too. You know, this whole idea of just like not letting anything get in the way, you know, crush, kill, destroy, plow away, you know, and that mindset, that entrepreneurial spirit. It's just, you know, I admire folks like yourself and Jimmy and other folks that I know, you know, Michelle, we on a few weeks ago, and, you know, Fook, a guy, a friend with Jimmy's, you know, owns a tattoo shop. He wrote a book. He's a refugee from Vietnam. It's a great story. I mean, it's just hearing all these things and the things that people overcome and having that passion just so deeply embedded just makes you want to go, go, go. I just think it's great. It's awesome stuff.
That's a good point too, because actually, Chris, our friend Jeff that just asked about the record reviews, he was Jeff is very a very big part of the Anthrax Club in that scene.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
he's probably he's a couple years older than me, and he's still is a great dude. He still has this intense passion with music, and Jeff and I play in a band together now called King Sexy.
Oh, yeah.
Or he, you know, I think Jeff would call it garage punk, garage rock punk. You know, fun music. It's a really good time, but he's very into the do it yourself stuff. We just did a compilation punk release a couple weeks back actually. So he's I just want to make a point because he's a really great guy. And if you have a chance, this is the book about the Anthrax Club.
Yeah, it's a great read.
Nice.
Very cool read.
Yeah, if I can find a copy,
I haven't seen that.
Probably get it to you. Great history. A lot of photos in here that Jeff actually took himself. I know he's got a great picture of Rollins in the club, you know, his real so really, really good history.
So Chris, how long did the label last? I think I read it was somewhere around 01, 02, roughly.
Yeah. It was probably, I want to say 02. I officially decided to fold it because it was at that point it was really weird because I don't know, there were a lot of things. In retrospect, it was time. You know, it's like it kind of had its run. And it was time, like otherwise you're just kind of flogging it, you know, flogging a dead horse.
Sure.
But I mean, all the bands, all the releases I put out, it took years, and it finally kind of, you know, started gaining. I'm not going to say popularity, but it gained a following.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, and just some of the early bands influenced other bands, and there became scenes out, you know, in other parts of the world, and you can see that happening, which is cool, and you can kind of hear it in the music, hear those influences. But then I would say around like definitely like the year 2000, everything just kind of, you know,
really
just kind of tanked again, and it wasn't cool anymore. And you know, people, you know, kind of reminiscent of the late 80s when I started the label, and like, oh yeah, the Power Violence thing was cool, but we've moved on, we've progressed, and now we're into whatever we're into. We've grown up, and now we listen to real music. We're mature. We've matured.
Right. That's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. So there's that element. And then in addition to that, I was, you know, people had stopped by the year 2000, 2001, people had stopped buying vinyl altogether. Yeah. Like, vinyl was totally dead, completely dead. It was CDs only.
Right.
And then around that time was when CD burners started becoming available to the public. Yeah. So, you know, like someone get a CD burner and like you go around to all your friends and see what they have, and then you're burning copies of everything you can, and so there's less of those. So I was just humming along like
that's nerdcore. That's the real nerdcore CDs.
So I've been humming along, putting out like the same 1,000 or 2 copies of, and that's the thing, like every record I was putting out was still only a couple thousand copies at the most. It wasn't like this huge
Right.
deal. It never became like a Victory Records or whatever. It was still just it was always a one-man operation. It was enough to sustain itself, which is what I was happy with.
Yeah.
But then it reaches a point where, okay, because I'm constantly taking the money from my last couple of releases to put out the new thing, and it just keeps going and going and going. And at a certain point, when people stop buying stuff, it's like, oh, I put out a bunch of CDs and no one's bought them, and now I'm broke. And now I actually owe money to all my manufacturers. I'm like, well, fuck this. That's like,
Okay.
like, yeah, it's like you can. Okay, bands, if you want. I think I've set a precedent for you. Now you can do it yourself. Do what I did. I did it myself. Now you do it yourself, because I'm not losing any more fucking money and I'm not doing this anymore. So,
This so this guy's got, or I'm not sure, this kind folk here, Suicidal Failure 666. What's your favorite record that you released through Slapping Him and the Proudest?
I would say my favorite has always been the No Comment 7. To me, that is like an iconic record, because for me, when I first got into hardcore early on, one of the most awesome, like, just over the top precedent setting records of all time was the DRI, their very first 7-inch, the 22 song EP. There you go. Yeah. So the record before that, the 22 song EP, which came out originally as a 7-inch, and then R Radical put it out as an LP, which sounds a lot better. But it's to me, that was like mind blowing, because it's just like there's so many fucking songs and they're all short. They're all like 17 seconds. But there's so much going on, and so just like punishing and nonstop. You're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and those guys, they started in like 82, I think, or something like that. DRI, something like that.
I can't remember when I started.
Because I think this was, Dealing With It came out in, 85, I believe. Yeah, 85.
Yeah, because the Dirty Rotten EP came out, I can't remember now. I want to say maybe like 83, I want to say, I think. But that was one of my all-time favorites. But I felt like the No Comment record was kind of the progression from that. Because it had the same sort of aesthetic, it had the same sort of feel, it had the same sort of like excitement. I bought 22 something from Dira and they played it. There you go.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Jeff.
I want to talk about your current band. I don't know if that's a proper way to say it with everything going on, because nothing is happening with music right now.
Well, Trappist is still doing stuff.
Oh, good.
Ooh,
I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with Trappist, and I gotta say, Chris, I've been like listening to it and re-listening to it, and I absolutely love it.
It's great.
And I find getting older, it's a little difficult for me to listen to too much like, extreme heavy stuff, like but there's a couple of bands that I really grasp onto when I'm feeling it and I want to hear some heavy stuff. And this, I really love this album. It seems like there's so much different influences along the way. Not only is it witty, it's fun, it's about beer, it's heavy, and there's some really great metal riffs. I really dig it. But I want to play a short thing from No Soldier Left Behind in case these guys aren't familiar with it.
All right.
Every night they get like the weight. It is slipping up the light down the drain. The soldier left behind. The soldier left behind. The soldier left behind. As they runs on, never lost the loss. The many will suffer if we're found in pain. Neglected and smitten, culture of abuse. Everything is free, ensure that you mind. The soldier left behind. The soldier left behind. The soldier left behind.
Just
awesome.
I've showed it to so many friends, and I just really dig it. It's awesome.
So
And
great.
I showed my buddy Mark the other night, and then we went to a New England brewing company to grab some brews, and and this dude was leaving, and there was a half a beer, and he was like, and he was like, dude, you should take a picture of that and show Chris when you guys do the film. And they cleared it and dumped it out. And I was like,
oh, fantastic.
Nicole.
What?
What the heck did I just watch? Exactly.
Scorching young minds right now. But yeah, I love it. Like I don't know who actually the other band members I'm actually not familiar with. Are these old buddies or are these like
yeah. This it's just three of us. The guitarist is Phil Vera, who I played in Despise You with for a while.
Okay.
And he's been in a bunch of other bands, Crom, 16. He's been in a lot of bands. He's super talented. He's an awesome guitarist. He's a cool dude. He recorded the album. He's got a studio at his house.
Oh, nice.
And then Ryan Harkins is the drummer. He runs this metal themed burger place in Alhambra called Grill 'Em All.
Which is in video. Is he in the video? Does he get grabbed by the
yeah, he's the one that you saw before the close up of the Sarge with the
right. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
In fact, that's he marches into Grill 'Em All in that scene. But he's a co-owner of that restaurant, and they actually won, on Food Network, that great food truck race or whatever.
Oh yeah,
they won the first season of that.
Oh, that's killer.
Yeah, it's funny. He has so many amazing stories about it. You gotta look him up sometime or talk to him, because it's funny because they went into it fully thinking, okay, we're like they at the time they were complete fuck ups and drunk or whatever, and he's like, we're gonna get kicked off the show the first week, and they ended up winning the whole thing, which is
amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, and he's from Cleveland. He was in a whole bunch of bands back there. He's in a band called Killin Action. We put out some stuff, but he was in a bunch of others. But no, just really solid dudes, and it's just fun, and kind of like what you were saying, how these days it's after so many years of listening to really extreme music, it's hard to just be like that nonstop, just like just like I want to listen to blast beats every second, bro.
Yeah.
No, I'm not that person anymore. I hardly ever.
It's got to grab me. It's got to grab me, and I got to groove. I mean, mostly I'm driving to work or something. Like I don't want to run anyone off the road, But I appreciate Trappist. I really dig it. I think it's awesome.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's cool. Thank you.
Everything's great about it.
No, I don't really. That's the thing, is like the focus of the band. In fact, when we first started going, we agreed that we weren't going to do any blast beats. Like, let's just do straightforward, just kind of something that you can get into. And I kind of my whole mantra for the whole thing is like just something that you can drink a pint and shake your fist to the whole time. Be like, yeah,
man, that's
whether
great.
It's slow or fast. It's not like extreme, not like a million stops and starts and craziness and technical whatever. It's like, no, just straightforward, just good, kind of catchy, heavy music. Let's just do it, and just to make it fun and challenging. It's like, okay, let's find a way to write lyrics about craft beer in every song, and not just about getting drunk, but just about about drinking out of a tulip glass and having fine beer,
Right. Yeah,
there's a lot of
there you go.
Pinky up, baby. Pinky up.
Pinky up, motherfucker.
There's a lot of different things happening on the album that really is fun and is grabbing you. I love the end of the album. Is it the Final Gravity? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Like I was listening to that, and it's like doom metal, it's like slower kind of stuff. I was like, I love this shit, which for some reason I've definitely gravitated towards this. Like, I don't know if it's getting older, like stoner doom sludgy kind of, but I really dig that.
And some of the lyrics are great. I mean, I took a snippet of victims of a bomber raid.
Yeah.
Just a quick. So apocalyptic stouts of monstrous weight, obliterate sobriety with unparalleled hate. Off in the distance, you can't hear their wails. All palates devastated by the heaviest of ales.
Oh,
That's some poetry in motion right there, my friend.
when you guys, when you decide, how did you decide on the name Trappist? It's obviously Trappist is Belgian style, or comes from Trappist monks brewing Belgian style beer.
Yeah, exactly.
How you were like, this is it, Trappist. This is us. Like,
I don't know. I just thought that it would be. I think because there's so many metal bands that have like these weird names, and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? And like a lot of people don't know what a Trappist monk is or what Trappist beer is. And I just thought it was maybe like a little like obscure enough, but like for the people who would know, they would get it.
Yeah.
And it kind of sounds like a metal band. You're like Trappist.
Oh, totally.
I don't know what it means, but Trappist.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it. So I actually, I don't know if you know I don't know if you, a while back, I don't know how long ago, there was a Trappist beer. I can't even pronounce the name. It's West. Oh man, Westford. I don't know how to say it.
West Veteran? Yeah.
Yeah. So
West Veteran, yeah. There's the West Veteran 12, which is considered like, it's supposed to be the best beer in the world. It's pretty darn awesome, but no, shut up. That's it. Nice. 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 That's it. There you go. You can only tell by the caps because they got a blonde and they got a couple different ones.
Yeah,
that's
so
it.
I had a friend of mine who owns a brewery now out here called Lasting Brass. Eddie's a really great guy, very passionate about beer. He got me a bottle, and he had to go. He lives in Danbury, which is upper Connecticut. He had to go over the border into New York to this liquor store. You had to first get a ticket to stand in line, and then you got into another line, whatever it was, and it was like I think it was like $100 for like a 6-pack.
Yeah, that's right.
And he was like, "I want you to have this. It's one of the rarest beers in the world." So I still have it. I haven't opened it.
Nice. So you've been holding on to that for several years, because I remember when they launched that, when they released it in the States, and it was like, it was like $100 or 120 or something. You get the 6-pack, and wasn't there glass or something that came with it too?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I never saw it.
Like, well, you didn't see the glass. Your friend kept it. But you got one
glass.
Like, hey, mine didn't come with a glass. I don't know what to say.
So yeah, I just held on to it. Maybe when the time is right, I'll open it.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And you guys,
cool.
You always, even Spazz had this element of humor in the songs. Trappist is heavy and lighthearted. Can we say about the beer? Were you writing this stuff just because you're like, oh man, this is hilarious? Was it a way to lighten things in life? Was it a coping mechanism for life? Was it was there any reason that the lyrics somehow ended up being, you weren't really I don't know if taking yourself seriously? I don't know if that's right.
I think it's just I think it's just that's just how I am. Just in general, like I just like to kind of make anti-Semitic, nice reference, very good. That's just the type of person I am. I'm just kind of goofy in general. I always have been, and I've always just trying to find humor in things. And I'm not the type of person who's going to write like. I've written angry songs, but I'm not that type of person who's just like, it's just nonstop hate, hate.
Well, that's why the collar shirt gets worn, right? When you hit the stage,
exactly.
You burst some of that anger, right?
Exactly.
You don't have any
that's the thing. That's the whole thing. Is like the music is supposed to be an outlet for that. It's like the real, especially now. I'm not talking about politics. No politics, no religion. But just the world in general right now. Like it's so fucking depressing. Like everything about it is so fucking awful every single day.
Yeah.
That like my entertainment can't be depressing as well. It's like my music and my reading and all that. I can't just like continue the cycle of just like of shit of shit and horror that is the world. I'm like, no, I need a break from all of that.
That was the motivation to actually start this. Because I mean, when everything kind of went down, my shop, I'm a tattoo artist by trade. I don't even know if I ever mentioned that, but my shop got shut down for almost 4 months. I played two bands, which that was it. Gigs were done, and I was like, like what the fuck do I do with my time? I got into my Crush, Kill, Destroy t-shirts and stuff and pushed it, and then I started doing this thing called the safety jams, where I had people sending me videos of them playing whatever, guitar, ukulele, bass, piano, and I would play drums to it and splice them together and then put it back out onto YouTube. And it was just a coping mechanism for being stuck at home. And then we did the first Crush Corner. Corey and I said, I want to do this thing. We'll promo like the Crush, Kill, Destroy, CKD clothing stuff, and we'll just talk about positive stuff. There's plenty of bullshit.
Oh yeah, thank you.
And that's kind of
escape it all.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, exactly.
I'm pouring.
Exactly.
Cheers.
Within
Which one did you open?
I did another Pilsner.
Oh,
because I really liked it, so I went with another Pils.
Yeah, so we got the Elm City. I drank I wish I could have sent this one to you, Chris. Too. This brewery does these spin cycles. They're oh yeah, so they're an IPA, but they tweak them a little bit and then they re-release them, and they're on like
it's like a mystery beer.
Kolsch is awesome.
Yeah, that's really good too.
Okay.
We got another mobile move to the fridge.
Mobile move. Here we go. Here we go.
Where
is it?
There it is.
That's
Kolsch, Kill, Destroy.
That was Kolsch, Kill, Destroy.
Yeah,
that's one of my that one's actually one of my favorites now, and I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I do, but it's actually really awesome. And this is another one of Chris' designs here.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Nice.
Jeff, I did not say sick of it all, but I do really like them.
Yeah. So Chris, with the shoot, where do I'm looking for this. Okay. With talking about the humor and stuff, and, obviously Corey and I appreciate that stuff. There's a Spazz song called Dwarf Goober, and I find that listening to Spazz, there were a lot of lyrics I couldn't make out. I did some research, and you could tell me if these are right or wrong. And Dwarf Goober is a relatively short song that says, "How to write Spazz lyrics 101. Let's begin with this song, Niederboder." I don't have my glasses.
Oh yeah. It's
Don and Neil are not. It's Floyd and Leach really swell. This makes no sense. Can't you tell you must always use these two magic words? Unholy, flung. Now go write your own Spazz song. Those lyrics pretty right on, because I found a site that they showed me the lyrics. They're pretty right on.
Yeah. Dwarf Goober Militia. That's from the album Crush, Kill, Destroy.
Yes. So yes. I was very inspired, and I wrote a song and I made a video with because I was instructed to by Spazz. that said go write your own Spazz song. So nice. This is my song and my video, and there's my daughter makes her debut, a little bit of vocals on here if you listen to it. So nice. This is ode to you for coming on the show, Spazz, and because I was told to, and I studied the Dwarf Goober. So this is our
world premiere video right now.
Premiere video, everyone watching.
Get ready.
When we do it, Spazz 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 when we do it.
Oh my god,
Yeah, baby.
that was sick.
That was so awesome.
The samples
Wow.
of
I think you're starting a new scene on your own.
yeah, it's like
See that?
What are you gonna call it? What are you gonna call this new style of music?
I don't know. Toddler core.
Core.
Okay,
I don't know.
good one.
I like that. Perfect.
That was Dinosaur Fart Blossom, which is an actual name that my daughter came up with. So yeah.
So great.
She's a genius. I love it.
She's pretty she's pretty good. So thanks for inspiring me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so one of the things that Finn McKinty described like the power violence scene as, some of the words he used was like metal, punk. He also referenced like graffiti and skateboards and stuff. And the other thing that he kind of mentioned along the way was hip hop. So I have a buddy of mine, his name's Daryl, and he actually used to play in the local hardcore scene in a band called 2x4. And he brought up, I was chatting with him about you, that you were going to be coming on. And he mentioned, I've heard of the guy. He said your label, Slap a Hand, before I even mentioned it. And then he's sitting there and I can see his wheels are turning. And he's like, I think that guy had something to do with Cool Keith.
Yep.
So I did a little digging around. He actually sent me some stuff. Really cool story. I mean, what was that like? And I know like it was a part of all the music back then, at least a little bit. But what was that whole experience like for you?
That was I didn't actually meet him. That was Dan.
It was Dan. Okay.
Yeah, Kung Fu Dan. He got to meet him. Dan was a guitarist. But it's a long story. Our friend Neil, his landlord was what's his name? Dan the Automator. And so Dan the Automator was working on the Dr. Octagon album with Cool Keith. And so somehow I'm not sure how it all came together, but Dan got to go over. He went over there while they were working on the album, and he was talking to him, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm into ultramagnetic MCs and whatever." And they got talking, and I guess Cool Keith was asking him if he's just like, "Oh yeah, so your band's it's Spazz? Okay, what are you into, like Autopsy and whatever?" And he was like listing off all these bands, and so Dan recorded him doing like a shout out sort of thing, which we included on our La Revancha album.
Oh yeah.
And then on Dr. Octagon, on the track I'm Destructive, he actually mentioned Spazz, which is pretty fucking badass.
I love how Spazz it follows I think it follows Def Leppard. We got our ticket, Def Leppard and Spazz.
Def Leppard and Spazz, yeah, exactly.
So cool.
That's
really
great.
Cool.
Yeah, but no, I mean, hip hop was part of the whole, the whole vibe. It was mostly like Max. I always liked it. I listened to hip hop since the 80s, but I wasn't as deep as Max and Dan were, and especially Dan, because Dan's been DJing since I don't know when, probably since he was in high school. He goes by DJ Eons, and he's put out a million mixtapes and whatever, and he's still like DJs out, but but no, that's totally like his thing. But I still, it's funny because at the time I listened to a lot of stuff, but I wasn't. I kind of came late to the game to a lot of stuff that was really cool. Like even now, I listen to a lot of those Stretch and Bobbito shows, from the 90s. And at the time, I didn't really listen to them, but now I really love them. I think just because I just didn't over listen to them,
Sure.
at
Yeah,
that time. But
Yeah.
it's so good, all that shit, and it's it's mostly East Coast shit from the '90s, and it's so
Yeah.
good, so good.
Eric B. and
There's so
Kim.
much there, and all the freestyles on their show, and yeah.
Yeah.
The
Good
Dr.
stuff.
Dr. Octagon stuff is pretty wild. I
It
think
is.
I think I saw an interview with him. And he referred to it as horror core. Another genre.
Here we go.
Horror. And listening to the lyrics on the one of the Dr. Octagon albums, you're like, okay, yeah, I saw some pretty fucked up shit.
Yeah,
But
like a little of that, and like I went out to New York for the first time in I think it was 93 or 94. I went out for the new music seminar. I was working for Alternative Tentacles, Jello Biafra's record label.
Okay.
I worked as a publicist for the label, and so I went out to New York for a few days to the, it was kind of like CMJ and stuff at the time. But I went out there, and I just happened to go to this. It was like a freestyle battle that they were hosting at whatever hotel. I forget where it was. But one of the guys, I wish I could remember everyone else who I saw there, but I do remember seeing Necro.
Oh.
Speaking of horrorcore,
yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Necro, and I remember like the guy who was like the MC for the whole event. He's just like, Necro, like, like dead bodies and shit. Necro, and everyone's booing it the whole time, and I forget who he was battling, but it was so fun. It was so much fun.
Oh, that's cool.
This guy's got another question. Any new bands you've been enjoying, or what you've been listening to lately?
New bands. It's funny because a lot of stuff that I listen to, people send me, people who are in newer hardcore bands or whatever send me stuff all the time, which is like, there's so much stuff out there. That's the problem, is like, kind of way back when, I had an easier time listing bands that I liked or listened to, because it seemed to be more finite, Whereas now with since everything is immediately accessible, I've been sucked into that whole thing where it's just like there's so much stuff and you have immediate access to everything, and I'm always hearing stuff that I'm just like, oh, that's really good, and 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 I just lose track of fucking everything. Whether it's like hardcore or I listen to, actually, what I listen to more than anything is the station WWOZ out of New Orleans.
Really?
And it's all like jazz and blues and like everything, like Americana and Cajun music and
so funk action.
Yeah, exactly. Like lots of funk, like old stuff and new stuff, and jazz, like newer jazz and like classic jazz, and there's reggae, and there's
awesome.
Almost always something really good on there. And so there's a WWOZ streaming app, and I donate to the station every year. It's just like it's so great. I listen to that a lot, and it opens me up to a lot of new stuff. And I use Shazam on my phone a lot when there's something on there and I want to find out what it is. I Shazam stuff a lot and then find it later and buy it. And
we have a station out here from Bridgeport. It's WPKN. It's listener support, completely listener supported. It's been around for probably 30 years, and they do like a 4-hour programming, all volunteer, and it's just that. It's there's everything you can think of, jazz and hip hop and metal and Cajun stuff, jazz. It's just it's awesome. So I've been listening to that. They have a program called Radio Nothing, which is really whacked out shit. That was the first thing I started listening to that caught me. I was like, what is this? It's a great station. So that turns me on to a lot of stuff too as well.
Yeah.
You were one of the interviews you did, you were talking about the camaraderie between all the breweries, and I think you related it to doing like a split or
yeah,
record or something like that.
yeah, I was talking about the collaboration beers, because there's so many of those. You see those with the, I don't know if New England Brewing has done collaborations with, but like almost every brewery has like, oh, hey, it's New England Brewing and whatever.
Sure.
You always see like, two breweries have teamed up to do this one, and it's, to me it's a lot like like doing a split 7-inch for hardcore bands, because it's like bands who are fans of each other, and you're like, we should do a record together. It's exactly the same sort of thing. And I've found that the brewing scene, it reminds me a lot of the hardcore scene. There's that same sort of, it's not so much competition. It's like, hey, we all want to succeed, and we all have our own spin on on what's slightly the same thing, but we're all doing our own thing and have our own flavor and our own our own spin on the whole thing, and everyone supports each other, and that's what's really cool about it. It's not corporate. It's very, very DIY. It's very collaborative and supportive and indie,
Yeah, totally. I mean, and obviously now with everything going on, it's everyone's had to find these creative ways to make a living, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy.
It really is.
And I think I don't know if it was the same interview or the interview with Matt McGashey.
The Vox and Hops.
I think Matt, well, he brought up something about the breweries not really having, or some of them not really having a like a flagship beer anymore, that maybe there was so much stuff coming out, or which is neat to have a strong product and people still just digging whatever it is that's coming out of the brewery, but not necessarily one staple. Do you think in you said something, actually, which caught my attention because I thought it was funny. You said, it's about staying sexy.
It's true. I feel like that's very true of the beer scene now, especially, is like, you have to, like your beers have to be sexy,
but it's
like because there's so many, I think because there's so much stuff out there now, and it's like a lot of the kind of craft beer scene has revolved around like, okay, well, what's new this week? Like flavor of the week sort of thing. It's like, I could cut, I'm a brewer. I come up with something, I put it on the market, and everyone has it, and they're like, yeah, that's great. And then next week they're like, so what's your new thing? And like, no, but I just did this. I like, yeah, we like that. So what are you doing this week? You're like, no, dude, that was I worked really hard on that. And I feel like that's kind of one of the pitfalls of the whole indie brewing thing is it's gotten, what exactly is a sexy beer? The sexy beer meaning that, exactly. No. Meaning kind of like flavor of the month, flavor of the week. Sort of like, okay, this is cool now. This is sexy. This is like, this is hip now. This is like Kim Kardashian, what she's doing now. Not at that level, but what I'm saying is like, okay, I've done this, crazy like s'mores marshmallow stout that's barrel aged in old Pappy barrels for whatever, and oh yeah, well that's really sexy because it's like something new and it's different and it's crazy and weird. But then once everyone's had that, then they're like, okay, what's next?
Right.
And so I think that's one of the trends that I don't like in the underground beer scene, and I'm kind of there
you go.
That could be next. You never know.
You just don't.
But
we're like inventing so much stuff now. We got Toddler core, we got beer
hookers.
Yeah, but I think but I appreciate just kind of, lately I've had more of an appreciation for just kind of like straightforward styles, that less of what my friends at Wayfinder Beer in Portland call stunt beers. That's what they call all those, like, marshmallow stouts and milkshake stouts and milkshake IPAs and whatever. And it's like, oh, it's a cereal milkshake, orange crush. And it's like, oh my God, Just no. That you're making beverages for little kids. Forget it. It's no.
Get them started early.
That's a good point, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just having a straightforward, really awesome pilsner is like, wow, this is what it's supposed to be. Just something that's really fucking awesome and done by someone who cares about what they're doing. You know.
Yeah, amen to that.
There's so many things that are in line with everything, music and the beer. That's what I was thinking, because you see that shift. I mean, me personally too. Like I love IPAs, but for some reason I don't know if I've had so much IPA. I've been drinking pilsners, and I'm like, man, this is crisp. It's refreshing. Like,
yeah,
I'm on a pilsner kick. I love it. So it's like
I agree.
That shift happening, like, and it's almost like the like I was saying before, if we've over categorized music. I don't know, like with the beer, there's like, you know, it seems like it can be like that as well.
Oh, I totally agree. And it is a parallel to like the music and subgenres of everything now. And you get on Facebook and you see people debating like, oh, that's not really grind, it's more like mints, but is it like true mints or is it false mints? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
just enjoy music. Just listen to a band and enjoy it, or don't, and move on. And
that's right.
God, people get stuck on just like people have way too much free time, is what it boils down to.
We do, yeah. We actually, all of us do. Favorite very well on tour with any band. So do you think? Did you have? Was Spazz touring more than any other band that you were in? Did you do the most touring while Spazz, or?
No, I think the most I've traveled actually was within the past decade when I went out with Infest. We did a lot of traveling, a lot of like long weekends, you know, out and about. There's God, I wouldn't even know where to start. I don't even know where. I don't even know what I can. Now I think about it, what I can actually divulge without getting in trouble.
Crack another beer and divulge it all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and another thing.
Yeah.
I never liked any of those guys.
Those motherfuckers.
God damn those people.
And seasoning salt.
There you go, man.
I'm actually that's another note I'm taking.
Good one. Okay, that's the next thing, because it's funny. My wife and I have been talking about like, okay, what's next after craft beer? I think salt.
There you go, man. Gotta have salt.
Seriously, we have some friends.
I season my steak with Chris Dodge.
Yeah. I have some friends who made. They were talking about making their own. Oh, thank you. I can't take credit for it, but yeah. I have some friends who made rosemary salt, and they were talking about that. And we got this Malden salt recently that we've been using, and my wife and I were talking about that, and she's like, "That's gonna be your thing now. You're gonna start getting all the different salts." I'm like,
the salt guy.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're like at home 24 hours, you know, for 6, 7, 8 months. Like, I have to get every salt.
Yeah,
everyone. Yeah.
I did a bunch of videos. I'm always doing these like short movies they're completely goofy and stuff. They're really whacked out. I have it on my YouTube channel, and a lot of them they were just quarantine, you know, stuff, crazy stuff, mostly related to tattooing. And I did one that was it was Uber Inks. Like a guy drives up and he delivers the tattoo. You stick your arm through a hole in the door, and you're like, Uber Inks. We got shut down, and it's like we were one of the industries that couldn't adapt, you know, curbside delivery and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These ideas are churning. I'll literally be like at the dinner table, and I'm just like, and my wife's like, "Oh no, what's going on?"
Here we go. Yeah,
and I make ridiculous movies, and I'm like, "Do not come outside. You don't want to see this." And
oh my God,
I'm like filming something. So
that's great. Hey, speaking of like weird videos and movies and stuff, my friend Jenny Nixon may be watching that right now. I'm not sure if she is. Oh wow, Oh, yikes!
Whoa!
I'll send you the.
Coming soon on A&E. Glory hole. She's one of the producers on this thing called the Museum of Home Video, and I highly recommend everyone to check this out. And they broadcast every Tuesday night and sometimes on Sundays, and it's like this crazy archive of the weirdest, most awesome, bizarre, just crazy shit, but just like old videos that like you've never seen. Like the very one of the first ones I watched, there was an Angela Lansbury exercise video. There's all sorts of just like random weird shit. It's called the Museum of Home Video. Just look it up, and then they do a live stream on Twitch every week, and it's gold every week. I swear to God, you have to find this.
I'm gonna check it out.
I will find it.
This is going the wrong direction very.
I don't know where we're going
very quickly. I know. We're all going to be called out on social media very soon for what's happening right now. So I take no ownership. There you go.
Nice.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So so you're stuck at home, so to speak. No music stuff, touring. You're doing you're writing for Decibel magazine.
Yeah. I still do the monthly column called No Corporate Beer.
Yep.
And it's in the print edition only, not online.
Mm-hmm.
And then actually music wise, I haven't really done anything, but I mean, we've gotten together with the Trappist guys and we finished up some songs that needed vocals and things like that. Like we were like very, very cautious, and we had a bunch of stuff recorded that needed vocals. So I would go in, and I had because we record at Phil's house where he's got his studio, and so I had him on FaceTime on my phone, and so I just tell him, and he controlled his Pro Tools thing remotely on his phone, and he'd start it. And so I just do it, and I'd tell him if it was okay or start it again. And so I did all the songs, and then I'd leave, and we'd open up the room and put this huge box fan in there and just air out the room for 20 minutes. Wow. And then the next person would go in and go through all the songs. And so we found ways to be very safe about doing it.
Yeah.
But awesome. We've been itching to practice, and I think we're gonna break down the barriers and actually get in a room together soon. So
you have an interest in other arts and painting. Are you still keeping up on that? You doing any painting or anything?
Not really. I was inspired for a really long time. It found it very therapeutic. I'd stay up really late at night and do a lot of painting. And it's funny because a lot of my painting would always gravitate towards portraits of animals or just still life of food. Nothing. It's not like, oh yeah, there you go. It's not like, oh hey, I'm drawing like I'm painting like, here's a cool painting of Lee Dorian from the early days of Napalm Death, and here's Extreme Noise Terror, and here's Laramie. No,
I mean I found I actually really appreciate him. I mean, bacon for one, you really
Yeah, there you go, bacon.
Awesome.
Very very sexy.
Yeah.
Also very sexy.
Yeah, there you go. Sexy beers and sexy paintings. So I'm all about. There you go.
Yeah. Can't have bacon without them eggs.
Yeah.
Look at the set of fried eggs on her. We can leave it off with the goat right here.
There you go. The goat.
Killer.
But these are great. I mean, I didn't know that you were interested in painting, and then I think another interview I read, you brought up a couple of painters that you appreciated. I looked into one that was really, really great stuff, and I can't remember the name for the life of me, but they're wicked. I love the fact that you painted on it looks like maybe
just
pine
wood
or something.
Yeah. I go to Lowe's or Home Depot and just get just huge like 12 by 12 or like 24 by 24 planks of wood and just paint on wood. And Lucian Freud is one of the one of the painters. I was like, if you look up his stuff, it's like crazy. It's all people, and it's like, yeah, I don't even know how to describe it, but Lucian Freud. I highly,
Freud.
yeah, just like a insane painter. Yeah, I was in To the Point. Yes, that is true.
That's
for people who know what that is, then it's it means something. For those who don't, then there you go. Look it up.
so you
Get on YouTube.
aside from the Spazz reunion thing, probably not going to happen from what you're telling us. It was a
well, that hit, I mean, unless we could really pull it off and it's really fucking good, there's not really a point in doing it. It's like because I mean the thing is, like, the band has way more of a following now than we ever had when we were together, and people actually really like it. And it would, I can't imagine like actually playing out and people be like, oh, well, that was okay, or well, that sucked. What else is next? It's like I'd rather just have it be. It's like people are excited about it and love it for whatever reason. And it's like, okay, well then just love it. It doesn't. I'm sorry that we never played for you, but you're not old enough or whatever. But just enjoy it for what it is.
Was that your feeling kind of all along with the span of time that you guys played together? You got to a point and you were like, was that the same feeling when the band kind of ended? You're like, you know what, we did our thing, we had a good time, like, let's end it right here. This is cool. Was it?
Well, I mean, actually, I mean, it was kind of like the label where like with the label we were talking about earlier, it ended because financially it just couldn't sustain itself anymore. I was horribly in debt. I'm like, well, fuck this. I can't just keep putting out releases that no one's going to buy. But but then after that, I realized, you know what? It was actually time. It was like it had run its course. There was no reason. There was no reason to continue doing it, because at that point, because when I initially started the label, like, I'd done it as a way to launch, like try and help out bands who I really liked who weren't doing it themselves. And then over the course of time, and I think throughout the 90s, it was really easily accessible for bands to put out their own records. And I think that it's just like everyone realized, hey, you know what, I can do this. And then it just kind of, just mushroomed from there, where like everyone was doing it. So it's like, well, now that everybody is doing it, then I don't have to be helping you out anymore because you've already done it.
Right.
And sorry, what was the original question? I went in a completely different direction.
My question was, what beer are you on right now?
Yeah, I'm finishing the Kolsch.
What'd you think about that?
The super, I think, is a double. Yeah. So you went from you're ebbing and flowing. But you made a comment that I actually wanted to bring this up.
Yeah.
Because you said that the band Spazz is a bit, it's more relevant now. And I know Jimmy and I had actually talked about this, and I mentioned it to him. So I'm going to assume you're familiar with the band Death, with the the three African American brothers. Yeah, and we watched the documentary, and that is the epitome of what you just said about being more relevant now than then, right? Because that was in the 70s, number one.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And it sounded like Bad Brains before Bad Brains was Bad Brains.
Yeah,
and nobody gave them a shot.
Yeah, and nobody gave a shit.
Nobody did. And then out of nowhere, the whole story, I mean, oh my God. I mean, people were just gravitating to it. It was so, I mean, great documentary. Band called Death, for all of those if you've never seen it. So good. But that comment so relevant.
Thank you, because that made me remember your question, which was about no.
Wait.
So that brought me. No. That was the question you asked, which was about Spazz, and that's what I was getting back to. Is kind of the parallel with Spazz. Is like the reason that we broke up actually was because I was moving to LA. That was the only reason that we had called it quits. But at the same time, once we had called it quits, I was moving to LA. I'm like, you know what? It was time, because we'd already been around for like 8 years. I realized at that point, I'm like, okay, if we'd stuck around, I mean, maybe we would keep playing bigger and bigger shows and whatever, but we would keep putting out the same record, or if we tried to branch out, we'd do something horrible that we would regret later on. It's like,
Maybe,
why not
right?
just like, while people like the band, let's just preserve it where it's at, and just let's just, okay. Like there's so many bands who should have done that, you know, just like, hey, you know,
Right.
we're really good and people like us and we're about to go another direction. So let's just stop right here.
No, that's a good point.
So what do you think? What do you think? Like, you have any ideas like for the future of Trappist? Like, do you guys talk about like what's? I know it's kind of crazy because everything is so uncertain right now. But as far as moving forward with Trappist and touring,
we have tons of other material. I mean, we actually have a split 12-inch that it has actually been in the can for about a year now. That Tank Crimes is supposed to put out a split album with the band Connoisseur.
Yeah,
it was like a band that has all weed songs, like, you know, but about good weed. So it's like they're kind of our brothers in that we're about like very very fine beer, and they're about very fine weed. They're connoisseurs. So the Trappist Connoisseur split, called Crossfaded, and I hadn't heard the term before until Carlos from Connoisseur had told me. But crossfaded is when you drink beer and smoke weed at the same time, and you're crossfaded. I'm like,
Corey knows a lot of that actually.
I'm like, that's good. Let's call it that. So we got that. We actually have the split 7-inch with this band Hetzi from Belgium. That's coming out on To Live a Lie Records and Bones Brigade. It's a split label release, and that's supposed to be coming out soon. And then we're actually supposed to work on another album for Relapse. So, but we just haven't practiced because we're on a roll. Like, and you know, the funny thing is, the very beginning of this year, I told those guys, I said, I don't want to set up any shows. I just want to work on new shit. Let's just get a whole bunch of releases out. Let's write new shit. Let's put out new records, and then like let's get a whole bunch of stuff out there so that we can actually go out and people will know who we are and know some of the songs.
Oh yeah.
So the first half of my wish came true of like let's not play any shows. It's like, well, the world took care of that for us.
Right.
Thanks for shutting down the world for us.
Yeah. So there you go.
So if you do intend on doing some tours or something, do you think it would be would you come and visit us on the East Coast basically?
Oh yeah, we did
Come on, we'll buy you a beer.
we did a short trip, and was it a couple of years ago? Well, no, it was 2 years ago, I guess. We went out to do it was all like beer related shows. We played at St. Vitus, but it was like this.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Brooklyn.
Right.
Yeah. We played at St. Vitus, but it was this our friend Adam who did what was it? 6 Most Metal Breweries. It's like this documentary series he's trying to get off the ground.
Right.
Sweet.
And so he hosted this thing, and he brought like a bunch of local breweries who did like, there was like, you could get separate tickets to do a tasting before the show. And they all came in and set up inside the club, and you could go around like with tickets and and do like a beer tasting, and then there was the show afterwards. And then we also played Dogfish Head in Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
And actually Sam from Dogfish got us out there, and we played with his band. He has a hip hop band.
Oh no shit.
Called the Pain Relievers. They're like a Beastie Boys, like early Beastie Boys style rap band, and all their songs are about beer and brewing, and it was so much fun.
That's awesome.
And then we went to DC and played at Atlas Brewworks, I think. So yeah, so I could definitely see us doing that sort of stuff. Was so much fun, just being able to hook up with people in both like the hardcore and the beer community. And
that's cool.
Yeah.
They so New England Brewing, the beer I sent you, they do what's called Final Fridays, which I don't know if they're actually. I think they pulled it off even through the pandemic. Did they do one, Corey?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I know they may not have early on, but then they did do some recently. I know they were having, I think, like an acoustic guitarist outside, doing certain things.
Final Friday is basically they have a big area in the brewery where they bring bands in, so they do like usually do like a release for beer, and they have like 2 bands play. It's a good time. So if you make it back this way,
yeah. Oh, hell yeah. No, we're actually, one of the exceptions to our plan for this year is we're supposed to actually at this time we're supposed to be going out to the Chicago area. We're going to go out to Rock Island, Illinois, to Wake Brewing, because Wake Brewing, we're going to put out a flexi for us. We're going to send them some songs. They're going to put out like a flexi disc, and we're going to play I think their anniversary party or something like that.
Oh wow!
And then we're going to try and play some of the other things in the area, and of course, this year happened. So
right,
yeah. But I think if we do anything, it'll be something like that related to it won't be like standard. Okay, well, let's just go to a bunch of clubs and we'll play, and 75 people will show up and kind of half remember it and leave. And it's like, no, we're gonna. I want to play at breweries and hang out with friends and really make it memorable and fun. And
I mean that's a good point. Like the brewery scene is great because you have the draw for
the beer,
itself, and then you bring these bands in, and it's like this whole big thing. Like, oh shit, I'm drinking good beer, I'm seeing a fun band. So it's actually a lot of our friends that are in local bands are gravitating towards playing at breweries. So it's been great to see that transition. I've played in many, little hole in the wall bars, and I'm like, it's cool. I love that these 6 people came to see us play. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So
we were actually for a while. We were talking to the guys in Municipal Waste about doing like an East Coast and a West Coast run of just like only playing at breweries.
Yeah,
because cool. they've got the hookup with all the East Coast breweries, and then we could set up all the West Coast ones, which would be like crazy fun, of course.
Oh my god, that'd be fantastic. Very cool.
So there's lots of things that sound great when you talk about it, and then actually doing it is another thing.
Yeah,
true.
With anything, we have we have a someone said you should play at Shakey's Pizza.
Start a pizza core band.
Ooh, another one.
I think there's a band called, was it Pizza High Five or something like that?
That I do not know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pizza core.
I don't. I'll leave that to somebody else who's more knowledgeable of pies.
So we have we're going on almost 2 hours, which is awesome, which is what we typically do. I usually do a new drop for a shirt that we have for CKD clothing website, which I'm looking at my banners and stuff here. My eyes are a little whacked out.
Glasses, man. You need the glasses, bro.
I got my so this is great. This is Tim.
Pizza High Five. There you go. What's up, Tim Tanker?
Tim actually,
right on, brother.
Tim actually is the one who said, when I started doing the crush, kill, destroy thing, he said, "Are you a Spazz fan?" And I was like,
"No, this guy sucks." He's like, "No, you got to check him out, Jim."
I did not. I said, I remember them, but I wasn't too familiar. And then I, went down the Spazz rabbit hole. Thanks to Tim, who was actually really super talented drummer, artist, and I'm grateful that he turned me on to Spazz and looking a little bit deeper.
Nice,
yeah.
But like I said, I usually do a shirt release. So I just did a new Crush, Kill, Destroy design for this episode and everything heavy. And I'm going to drop it now, and it's going to be on the website tomorrow, which is what, Sunday? So
yes, sir. 18th.
So this is the new. So I'm gonna do these. I'm gonna do this design on a crew neck sweatshirt, but I'll do it on probably anything. It's gonna be on the website tomorrow in a crew neck sweatshirt form, and this is the new. So it's basically a keep it heavy, man. Keep it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love it.
It's got your metal hands and your sweet fucking lettering and
Well,
shit.
I got the badge.
Oh
Yeah.
thank you so much, man. Oh, that's awesome, man.
Sweet.
So that-
Trappist is so good.
Nice.
Ah,
Yeah, read the lyrics if you can.
for Trappist.
For Travis, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
put
yeah.
a
I
lot
read
of
a
time
few.
into that.
They're so good. So good.
I try and dig deep.
Are you guys doing? So you're doing in Trappist. You're doing like Spazz, like shared vocals, right?
Yeah, all three of us do. Yeah, it's funny because it is very Spazz like in that way, and that we all kind of.
I think
on skateboards. Only if you can find a skateboard company that wants a huge painting of an ostrich head
Or a donut.
or a donut or some bacon.
I'm thinking maybe like well, you're talking about the salt and stuff. I was thinking maybe we should we can do like a hot sauce, like a collab, some kind of collaboration.
Oh, totally.
Crush, kill, destroy, Spazz, something.
Oh yeah,
hot sauce.
yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking about it before you.
The noodle working. The noodle.
Yeah.
Working.
Here we go.
Like it.
Is this the time when you're at dinner with your wife and you look up and she's like, "Oh no, he's got another idea." Shit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Have you? This is a good. Joe brought off Metalacci. Have you ever seen Metalacci?
I've never seen. I know who Metalacci is.
Yeah.
I've never
Very
seen
good.
them.
So I actually played.
I've heard that they're incredible, though.
They really are.
They're pretty wild.
Amazing.
I actually played with Metalacci in a small bar in here, New Haven, and they came through and they set up this bar was pretty small, and they were doing their sound test, and the only thing they have on stage is about eight microphone stands, because it's all trumpets and shit, and so they get up on stage and it's just microphones, and they do their sound test, and we're like, wow, this is fucking crazy. And I play in another band. It's like a 70s 80s metal cover band, Sabbath and Priest and Maiden, and that's what those guys cover, so it kind of fit for the bar. And these dudes were awesome, like
unbelievable.
we played our Sabbath and then they were like, yeah, we're so into it, and they came out and they just destroyed it with like
it was amazing.
horns.
It was really amazing.
Yeah, it's a good time. You should check them out.
That's awesome.
So I'm gonna do some it was Cafe 9, which is a great
Yes, it was
great bar. So Chris, I'm gonna do some trivia right now. I usually do this. I have some
oh dear,
Spazz shirts, and I have some other I have my punk patches set that I do on the website. It's all crush, kill, destroy little punk patches.
Nice.
That I'm gonna throw in there, and I think the easiest way. And I also have a
Is it trivia for me or people who are typing in?
Well, no, you can't really guess. It's pretty easy to, but you can't guess, because then I'll be sending you some of your stuff back to you.
Oh, okay, got it.
I have the I got some Spazz t-shirts. I got the easiest thing for me to do is just when I do the trivia, if somebody gets a right answer, I write their name down, and then I'll get in touch with them through DM, and I'm going to send them some free shit. I got the Crush, Kill, Destroy punk patches, which I thought was super fitting.
So if you're doing a trivia thing and I don't have to participate, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the garage and I'm going to get another beer, and you can watch me do that while you ask the questions. We
want to see your garage.
Yeah, we love the mobility. This is fantastic.
Is the Overstock beer in the garage? You got to make your way out through the garage now?
I gotta go. Well, yeah. That's what I
Jimmy, you know what's
I
funny?
brought in the 3 of the ones that you sent me. We have a full size fridge in the garage, and I mostly it's actually not well stocked at the moment, but I've mostly taken it over with beer.
Oh yes, I do. I too have the same in my garage actually.
Jim, we'll have to remember this because you know what?
Yes.
There is only one other guest that has gone mobile.
This is true.
And
it's a little bit it's actually a little bit at the moment. It's not really that impressive. But down in the
you got stuff
down
in
the
there.
drawers,
whoa.
I keep the stout down here. I have like a bunch of old narwhals and
oh
wow, look at that.
Barley wines. Let's see. Let's see.
Oh,
these are some go-tos. Like narwhal, people don't understand that narwhal stout is the shit.
Narwhal's heavy, man.
Like it's not sexy, but it's really fucking great. AleSmith Speedway Stout is one of the greatest fucking beers on the planet.
Oh, I actually got a beer. I should probably say
Bigfoot, one of the greatest barley wines.
About it, yeah.
And it's like I say, it's not sexy. It's old school, but it's like some of the best.
It's simple, right? It's like we were saying before. You don't need all the fluff and cereal and all that other stuff. You just want a good brewed beer. That's it.
Let's see.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense.
I'll go for the Speedway Stout. The AleSmith.
Ooh, yeah.
It's really fucking
rocking the stouts.
If you don't know, then you don't know, and you need to find it. That's all I'm saying.
Find it. I think this is actually now that you showed me your stock. You said you got some barley wine in there, right?
It's been depleted.
So this is
especially during quarantine. That's the thing. I don't know about you. That's a question I have for you guys.
Ooh.
Are you guys like me, or am I just a complete fucking derelict in that? Like I drink so much more now that I've been on lockdown.
I have a 6-year-old child at home. I was out of work for 3 months, and I have 2 recycle bins that were overflowing.
Yeah, exactly.
So no. This is awesome, man. This is another one from New England Brewing. It's called Premeditated Murder. It's a barley wine style ale. This is probably something you would appreciate, Chris. It's really good one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this is I had one of these. Corey, you weren't so much into this, right? The barley.
No, I mean it's like one of those. You appreciate it, but yeah, it's not something I'll sit there and just drink a lot
7%.
of. Yeah, that's trouble.
It's not sessionable. It's not something you're gonna have on a sunny summer afternoon. That's for sure. That's an end of night sort of where the Mickey's at. At the store, at the corner liquor store. They belong. All
right, so we got our gracious watchers. We have our giveaway, and like I said, if you don't be greedy, if you know something, answer it, and I'm gonna be in touch with you, and I will send you something and let someone answer the next question. They're not difficult, but they're fun.
These are very fun. Very fun. Awesome.
I got a bunch of stuff to give away, so that's cool. Jump on the website tomorrow, and the new Keep It Heavy t-shirt is going to be on there. And we will do, if you have any questions.
Go.
What's that?
And go.
And go. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, trivia time on the Crush Corner. Our first question is, what was and don't say any, if you know this, Chris, don't say anything, because you're on your 5th or 6th beer. You might be like, I know that.
I got it.
What was, and this is cool, there's something I didn't know about the show. The last show, what was the last show at CBGB? The very last show. Anybody?
And I believe yesterday
Oh,
was the 14th anniversary of this last show.
Of the last show.
yeah, it
Mhm.
was. Do you know what year that was, Corey? When they shut? Was it?
04, I believe. Or no, I'm sorry. 06, 14 years ago.
Was it?
Yep.
06? Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm
TVG
pretty sure.
shut down, and actually, I know that. I know you guys played CBGB in
Played in '97.
That's
97.
awesome.
So,
We played in
So you
'97, and that was a show that was very well known because we played with we played with the Get Up Kids, and we played with Braid, which
Yeah.
it's just like kind of at that point what was called emo, which doesn't
The mix-
resemble
yeah, it was
what
kind of
emo
a
is
strange
now.
mix of-
Right.
But it
So-
was like we played with. It was like this mixed bill of kind of emo bands and hardcore bands, and then death metal. It was like us and Get Up Kids and Monster X.
Oh, we got a winner.
Braid. You have a winner?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Nice.
good one.
So this I didn't know this, but Patti Smith was the last show. She played for 3 hours, and she had someone that came to the show and ended up playing a couple tunes with her. And if you look at this video, I was like, wait, is that who I think it is? But
Is that Flea?
That's
it is.
pretty-
Yeah. He went to CBGB to watch the show, and he ended up playing with her. Which
Eh,
is
so
cool.
great.
That's
So
cool.
this person, Rasik Serve, that's correct. I wrote your name down, and I will find you somehow, or you could message me on Instagram at CKD2020 or Facebook or whatever works. Let me
Nice.
know, and I'll get you some free shit.
Before we go to the next one, really quick note about the CBGB show. The
Yes.
funny thing is, that was I'd been to CBGBs a bunch of times before, but it was the first time that I actually played it when Spazz played in '97.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is a big deal to me. Like, we're finally fucking playing CBGBs.
Yeah, man.
That's big time.
Headlining. This is a big deal.
That's crazy.
But I swear to God, like, we're ready to go, all set up, lights go down. I get ready to play, and like my bass head just dies. It's just dead, and like
Dead.
like the house music goes off and everyone's waiting. I'm like, I spend all the time I'm like messing with chords and whatever, trying to figure out what it is. And my head had just like blown out at that very moment. And so it was just like this super anticlimactic, like, yeah, so we'll be back in 15 minutes.
Oh God, that's crazy.
And they, some house music, something. And so I had to find someone to lend me a bass head because
Oh wow, that's crazy.
How were you guys? How'd the show go though? How were you guys received coming out to the East Coast?
I thought it was good. I mean, it was fun. We actually had kids do the Wall of Death because we had we had a Wall of Death song, and people actually went to like either side of the room and did the Wall of Death. I'm like, yes.
Well,
we brought it back.
There's a point in that video that I watched that you can see, like, all you guys, you can see the front of the crowd, they turn around, whoever's filming that, and you guys are looking out and you're like, yeah. So maybe it was that. Yeah, I was watching, I was like, what's going on, like, in the crowd? So that's crazy
awesome
stuff. All right, trivia question number 2. Which pop, and I put the pop part in there too because I know it's probably one of Chris's favorite bands. Which pop punk band shot an entire video at the West Berkeley Alternative Club, 924 Gilman Street? Which pop punk band shot an entire video at Gilman Street?
I don't know.
Waiting.
Let's see how quick oh, we got a winner.
Timmy.
There we
Hey, Timmy. Yes, Timmy got it.
Yeah. Big
Good
ups to
job.
Green Day. You know, it's like those guys are cool because they you know, they got big and
Die.
they bought like a really fancy sound system for Gilman. Like they just purchased a new awesome sound system for Gilman just as a gift. And
Oh, really?
you know,
Oh,
and that's the thing that's funny is like I've found that a lot of bands who originated from like the punk scene, like they all have reputations as just being like really fucking cool, you know, because they get it. It's like it's like you don't come from a place where it's like I'm gonna be a rock star or I'm gonna be, you know, I'm gonna be famous, whatever. Like it happens.
yeah.
But you still have that mindset of, yeah, but okay, this happened and it's cool and I'm benefiting from it. But you know what? I need to you know, I need to pay it forward. I need to help people out. I need to do something that is, that's a sign of appreciation.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying too about the behind the scenes thing, where you don't see the effort that goes into a lot of the stuff that results in the final product, whatever it is, a beer, a t-shirt. So it's like a lot of people say, "Oh man, these fucking sellouts," you know, and this and that. But it's like there's so much pound and pavement before that kind of thing happens.
Yeah, totally.
For someone like that band Green Day to actually be kicked out of Gilman Street at one point, right? And then come back.
Exactly. It's stupid. Yeah, they're like, well, technically our policy is no major label band, so you guys can't come back. But if you want to give us a free sound system, we'll be happy.
I'm sure we'll take that.
We're like, yeah, we love you guys. Of course, come back. All right. Trivia question number 3. What does CBGB's extended abbreviation OMFUG OMFUG stand for? Do you know that? You probably know this one, Chris. I'm sure. Yeah. It's. I mean, you think it's CBGB. Yeah. Like, oh, I know what CBGB, but a lot of people don't think about the extended OMFUG.
Yeah.
For the longest
I've seen it before, but I can't. Yeah.
And then you
remember especially right now, I can't remember off the top of my head. So
I think because you get so used to hearing it as OMFUG, you know, CBGB OMFUG, you know, you see it on shirts, you see it in the front of the club. But I was like, yeah, it's pretty bizarre. And I read a bunch about oh my god, Hill is it Hilly Crystal?
Yeah.
That owned the club, that when he came up with the name and his intention of what was going to be in that club.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, that makes sense. And then to see that's
a funny one, Manuel.
I want to give him something just because of that.
Give him a consolation prize. Give him a keychain.
There you go.
I'll give him a keychain. Consolation prize.
Yeah.
So what we usually say when we do this stuff is we don't really care what you do. You can jump on Google and try to find the answers. We don't because we don't know what you're doing. We don't really. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, jump on Google.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I remember what CBGB stands for, but I don't remember OMFUG, but I remember what CBGB stands for.
You just got to get the fingers typing on the Google. It's right there.
Because it's what country bluegrass and blues, right?
Yeah,
country bluegrass. Yeah, that was his original intention.
Yeah. So. I forget what the OMFUG is.
Yeah, I mean it's. I just typed it in and it's there. Oh, there you go. So thank you for that.
That's nice of you. If no one gets it, you can be greedy.
Yeah. You get a Spazz tee in like every size. Get a small, medium, large, and extra large.
You can gift them all holiday.
Yeah,
to all your friends.
I might actually keep the small Spazz shirt for my daughter. Actually,
good one. Yeah,
good idea.
She likes to write songs about poop and.
Yeah, she deserved it. She put a lot of effort in that. I appreciate it. Dinosaur, what is it? Dinosaur poop
fart blossom.
Dinosaur fart blossom.
Fart Blossom.
Yeah. Dinosaur Fart Blossom. Toddler core. It's pretty heavy. It's gonna be the next thing. All right, you guys aren't getting
Here's
this.
the thing. For all our friends out there, I gotta say, I literally just typed in umfug meaning. And it's like right there. I mean, I don't understand. What are we doing? See, it's you can't see it.
Come on.
It's right here. Like I typed it in and it's there. It's right here. Read it. I can read it right now, but I can't. I mean, people, we're ready. I mean, you got it. It's at your fingertips. You all have one of these. We all do.
You can do it.
Right. You can do it.
I believe in you.
We do. We really believe in you. If you can't get it, we're gonna move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Come back to that.
You know what? Yeah, I will keep track. I'll watch, see if anyone pops anything on.
Thank you. This is so I know this is actually my thumb's relaxing. All right, number 4. This is a good one. I love this one, and I actually have.
It's Saturday night. It's not the night for your thumbs to relax.
Yeah,
it's the night for your thumbs to party.
Yeah.
Like this guy.
Oh, I have my Anthrax Club. This was a reunion shirt they put together. It was probably way more than 10 years later, right, Corey? So they did it.
Derek.
Anthrax.
Derek.
Did AOD play that?
No. I actually have a list of bands on the back.
76% uncertain.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, Derek got it. Nice.
Derek got it.
There you go.
Derek,
I don't know why I said AOD. Maybe I just said AOD because they played up there, but yeah, I know they're from New Jersey. Connecticut would be like Violent Children and Youth of Today and
Token Entry.
Yeah.
Token Entry from there. Okay.
Well, no, the area. Like the area. Yeah.
So I didn't even actually know this word, but gormandizers is kind of like a glutton.
Good for you, Derek, because that's what the Google is for. Thank you.
A gourmandizer is someone who's like eating a lot of food or something like that. So for whatever reason, I don't know if it was 2012, Jeff, but the reunion show. All right, moving on. So Jeff, you want to pay attention to this one. I'm talking about, I'm basically in this talking about defunct clubs that have disappeared, which were really great places for all of us to go to as kids and youngins. What was the final show at the Anthrax Club in Norwalk? The final show. Jeff, are you paying attention? I know that you know this. Final show at the Anthrax Club.
What year is it?
It's in this book. They have a list. It's actually really great because they have a list of gigs. The last show at the Anthrax Club was November 2nd of 1990. The last show.
Wow, a long time ago.
And I will say this, which is actually really cool, Chris, because they had, when they got shut down, they had a couple of shows scheduled, and one of them was
Jeff, ding ding.
One of them was Jeff got it. One of them was the Melvins was in December. They had the Melvins to play, and they never got to do it because the club done. Nice job, show. So
it's a great space.
The actual last show was Murphy's Law, Burn, and Sub-Zero. And I actually have a clip from the Anthrax Club with Murphy's Law. It's not the final show. I couldn't find it, but Jimmy Gestapo. Did I do that before?
Jimmy Gestapo. Yeah. So, the unfortunately named Jimmy Gestapo.
So young. Yeah,
just so great,
so crazy. All right, number 5. We have a club that was in New Haven that hosted Nirvana's only Connecticut appearance ever, and this was shit, man. I'm not sure. Not even sure. I knew I couldn't go to it because I had to work at like
Yes, so did I. We talked about this the other day,
which I should have went to. So,
Yeah.
what club hosted Nirvana's only Connecticut appearance?
That's a
What
good
was
one.
the club? And I can actually, I could show you the video, and you can try to guess the club. I mean, this place was awesome. It was
Killer place.
Such a great club.
No, Nicole.
No, good guess, but it was not Toads. Much smaller, low ceiling.
Much smaller.
Was it the place?
We got one. We got a winner.
Oh, what's up, Renee? Oh shit!
Bravo.
The moon.
Wow.
Yeah. There was a couple of
Sweet.
couple of clubs and a couple of shows. I think a couple of shows I got punished as a kid and I couldn't go to. I was so bummed out. One was I think Red Hot Chili Peppers at the Schubert or something like that in New Haven. I got in trouble. I couldn't go. So all right.
You're better off for it.
We got
Oh my god. Here's the thing. Like, fuck. If you live in LA, there's this rock station here, KLOS. It's like every hour you're guaranteed to hear Guns N' Roses, Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's like, oh my god.
I'm gonna make it a public announcement right now.
California.
I mean,
California.
they only have 10 songs about California. Come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will say, I'm going to say this right now, and it's because people didn't expect it. When I fucking hate Guns N' Roses. I'm sorry. I put it out there.
No.
I admit it. Okay.
I was okay with them, and then I moved down here, and I listened to KLOS, and for whatever reason, they always play the worst Guns N' Roses song, which is the cover of "Live and Let Die." Like a song that sucks. A song that sucks to begin with, and then Guns N' Roses covers it. Like, no, sorry, I'm not listening to that. Sorry.
Yeah.
KXLU is a great station. It's a college station, so they know what's up.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got 4 more questions. These are all now related to beer. So we'll finish off with these. Number 6, the Crolines Brewery made a Swedish lager after what English heavy rock trio? I don't know. Do you know the Crolines Brewery? I'm not too familiar with it, but
no.
Crolines Brewery made a Swedish lager after what English heavy rock trio? If Tim Tankred is still hanging out, he might know this.
Interesting.
So I have the next couple questions are.
I was gonna say Triumph, but they're from Canada, and they're not heavy. So
no.
Crolines.
I know. I don't know the brewery. I don't know for sure, but I've already guessed what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before you reveal it, I'll say it.
A Swedish lager after what English heavy rock trio? Heavy. Let's see these guys.
I just know it.
EF band. I don't know. I don't know.
No, Nicole.
I don't know what that is, but
EF band.
I don't know what that is.
Like beer or millennial beer or sexy beer.
It's all the above beer.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not a sexy beer.
It's not a sexy beer
because most of those like big band beers are usually terrible. Like the Iron Maiden beers, for the most part, are kind of like, Like everyone I know, they try them and they're like, oh, but I'm gonna keep the bottle because it's cool and it has Eddie. It has Eddie on it and it's cool. But like they actually have the beer, like, okay,
you gotta ask Google. Yeah. Good, Nicole. So did you get an answer? What do you mean it lied?
Crowley, it lied to me.
I'm gonna say. Can I sort of spoil it with the clue?
Listen, I'm gonna say
it starts
good.
Hints are good. It starts with an M.
I'm gonna say
I like it. No, good.
I'm gonna say that it reminds me of, I'm gonna say that the Trappist song, the patron
Yep.
saint,
Yep.
reminds me of it.
Yep.
Patron saints, patron saints.
You what?
So
Derek.
Oh, Derek got it again. Okay.
There you
Nice.
go.
Nice
Thank
job, Derek. I don't know you, but I will find you.
I don't know you, but I love
Oh,
you.
Nicole, you just missed it.
Okay, so we're at number Chris kind of spoiled this one, but we're gonna read the British based
sorry.
No. We're good.
British based Robinson's Brewery creates this cask ale for these rock legends. The Robinson Brewery made a beer.
Nickelback.
What?
Nickelback.
Nickelback. Nice.
5-finger death punch. No. British-based Robinson Brewery creates a cask ale for these rock legends.
Creed.
Boom.
Breaking Benjamin.
There's only two, and I just gave you both, so I win. I win.
Derek's being a really nice guy here.
Nicole can have that one because she used the. Oh, you know what?
Here's a cheers to Derek.
Cheers to Derek.
Oh, Nicole coming in strong now. No.
Not Olympic. All right.
Bang.
So Nicole's.
No, technically she's wrong.
She forgot the. She left on a letter.
No. Look, go down a couple.
Oh, she corrected herself. Okay.
She did.
All right. So,
I got you, Nicole.
Number 8. Listen up. Signature Brewing made this double black IPA called Black Tongue, partnered with this American heavy metal band. Signature Brewing. I didn't know about this one. Actually, I had no idea. Actually,
I would have never ever guessed this one.
So Nicole got the last one. There it is, the Trooper.
Yeah.
Which I tried it, Chris. I'm kind of with you. I was like, it's beer.
Yeah.
Signature Brewing made this double black IPA, Black Tongue, partnered with this American heavy metal band.
So for those that don't know, you type in Black Tongue Slack.
Here's how you Google search.
Like my best friend.
I'll give you a clue. I think that someone is trying to kill me. Oh, well, that's not a good clue.
Pantera.
Oh, I got a good one for a clue. No, that's not. No, I'm thinking of a different band. No, that's not a good one.
Stone Temple Pilots. Pearl Jam.
Fozzy.
So you can Google Signature Brewing and double black IPA called.
I'm not familiar with Signature Brewing.
Renee got it.
She did. Look at Renee.
Oh, very good. Very good. Well
How do you feel about Mastodon, Chris?
I'm okay with him. I met Bill from Mastodon when he was playing with Primate.
Oh, no.
Right on, yeah.
Time ago, yeah.
Corey and I saw Clutch open for Mastodon in Central Park.
Yeah, it was so great.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. As far as I know, they're solid dudes. It's a good band. I like them.
Actually, Clutch. I think Clutch kind of brought them on tour years and years ago. I'm an absolute huge Clutch fan.
Good point, Nicole. Ladies are dominating tonight.
Ladies are.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Cheers. Cheers to the ladies.
Cheers to the ladies.
It's about time. It's about time.
The synchronized drinking is actually really beautiful.
It really is.
So this is our last question, bringing us to the end of our night. The Carlsberg Brewery released this beer in cans and 5-liter kegs for this hard rock band. The Carlsberg Brewery, and the only hint I can really give
Pinkies up,
I
Cole.
think that this was a band that.
Were they a German band?
Well, I will say this: they're an Australian band.
Thank you. Yeah.
Ooh.
I have another hint.
You just gave it away.
This was the last.
You just gave it
bottle.
away.
This is the Mastodon bottle by.
Oh, that's cool.
Signature. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Nice.
There's definitely another hint we can throw out if we need to.
It's not the Spice Girls.
Nope.
Mm.
But nice try.
Close.
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 It's actually Motley Crue.
Carlsberg.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses.
My daughter loves Motley Crue. Actually, she's a nut.
Poison.
My daughter is a huge Twisted Sister fan.
She sure is.
Yeah. Carlsberg
Warren.
Brewery, yeah, released this beer in cans and 5-liter kegs for this hard rock band.
Do I throw out one more hint?
You can throw out a hint.
So, if you've been paying attention, they've been in the news recently.
Come on, people. Come on.
And they have a new single.
Come on.
That I did not know, actually.
Yeah, that's a fact.
They're not young. However,
creative. Like that. That's good.
Not a young band.
Renee.
However, technically, maybe they are.
Renee. Wow.
Thank you.
Renee is scooping up some shit tonight.
Nicole, you just missed it. But wow.
And that includes this edition of Crush Corner Trivia. Renee killed it.
Nice job, buddy.
Just
very creative questions.
Chris, if people want to find out what's going on with you, they could find you on Instagram at Mr. Chris Dodge and Trappist if they want to find out what's going on with the band.
Or don't. Just leave me alone.
Just
leave me alone. I'm sick of all the fans. Like I'm just No, please write to me. I will write back eventually.
Nice.
So I will anyone that got a trivia question tonight, I'm going to go in succession of how you answered. I have a sweet Slap a Ham t-shirt. I got a couple of sweet Spazz
shirt
in hot pink. I'm probably going to keep one for my daughter. I was debating on keeping one for myself. I definitely want to get one to Jeff Coleman because we play in King Sexy and we actually push the color pink when we play out, which is great. And thank you, Chris, for hanging out with us. This was awesome.
Are you serious? Thank you,
Chris.
Yeah,
so awesome. Much fun.
Great to meet
you.
And
thank you for the phones. And if I can get them all here.
Yeah.
For the lineup of
the Nebco product. Little New England love.
Yeah, New England Brewing, nice solid place. They've been hammering along for quite some time and really great.
So you work at a brewery? Is that right?
I do not. I work at I own a tattoo shop which is across the street from the brewery. So those guys are very, very good friends of mine. I own Lucky Soul Tattoo, which I had for coming up on 20 years. And we've actually been neighbors with the brewery for almost that long, about that long. But so that's our regular hotspot on Fridays, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We go to New England. We grab some beers.
Well, cheers to New England Brewing Company. Their stuff is awesome.
Yeah,
it's really fucking good. I love the aesthetic of all the labels too.
Yeah,
Craig does a great job.
Oh yeah, totally. So yeah, this was great, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm gonna keep rocking out on the Trappist. I love it. I'm anxious to hear what you guys come out with in the future.
Yeah. There's a couple new releases coming out, and just stay tuned. The only newer thing that came out was the Decibel Flexi, which a few people got that. I think you can find it online somewhere. Sweet. But thank you, Jeff, and thank you for everyone for actually sticking it out for 2 hours and 43 minutes. My God,
this is our longest. This is
a great time.
It's the longest one we did.
Yep.
Nice.
It was a hell of a lot of fun. So I
awesome.
appreciate that.
Yeah, so much.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you too, Chris. It's great to meet you.
Cheers. Yeah, likewise.
Thanks for letting me use the Crush, Kill, Destroy song. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. And one of these days, I'll see you in New England, and we'll do this in person.
That would be absolutely incredible. Awesome.
Thank you so much, dude. Cheers.
Cheers.
Crush, Kill, Destroy. Take care.
All right. Later.
Later, Crush Crew.